Sing the national anthem in Little League Baseball.
It's a great song.
Leave it to kids in Fargo to be 8 years behind the trend.
Ha! At least. They're like 20 years now.
I was going to say, how long ago was Skateland? Whoa. It's time for the crossover with the Sharp and Benning in the morning and the Connor Happer show. Connor, Josh, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello, how are you?
Morning.
It's not quite afternoon yet, you guys, but although it might
it is.
feel like it to you guys.
On the approach.
Yeah, we're getting there.
I feel like this is what a zombie feels like. Once they start to turn.
Let's get a Jimmy Health update. How are you doing?
I took the Connor Happer approach yesterday, and I took a nap. And I must say, my friend, you spoke the words of wisdom to me, and it helped.
You got to find a way.
I took a 1 hour nap, and
That's
I literally
all you
felt
need.
completely
Because if you go any further than that, you're in trouble. Because
Yeah.
then you'll never wake up.
It's like smelling salts.
Yeah, and then I actually stayed up till almost a little past 11 last night. Got caught up on some of our crap TV we watched.
Look at that.
Yeah,
What are we talking about for crap TV?
90 Day Fiance. That's our
90
that's
Day
our poison
Fiancé.
pick. Yeah, it's so bad, it's great.
Outlawed.
It's you get 6 weeks of people saying that they're never going to marry the person that they came to the United States to marry, and then they all end up marrying each other. Spoiler alert! I guess we probably should.
I did watch Love Is Blind
during the pandemic.
I don't know what that is.
So basically, they have these people, and
they put them in a room to talk to each other, but they can't see each other.
So it's the dating game in 2020.
They can only see each other when they agree that they have enough of a connection to potentially go on the road to get married. The end goal is marriage. It did not work out for some. It worked out kind of for others, and it actually ended up being a somewhat interesting show. But I will never watch it again.
We also watched Big Brother in the challenge, but we were too.
Do you like the game shows?
Too deep in I made
Old school.
I made the second round of auditions for Big Brother. I don't think I've ever been more infuriated in my life. I was living in Florida at the time. And they had open tryouts in Orlando, and me and Alyssa have talked about this.
What happens on Big Brother?
It's like Survivor, but in a house instead of on an island, basically, essentially. It's actually my favorite TV show of all time. My two favorite days of the year: kickoff for college football and the start of Big Brother.
Started Big Brother.
Those are my top.
That's my mom's favorite show actually as well. Now I think about it.
So I drove 45 minutes from Daytona Beach to Orlando.
Okay.
Took a day off from work to do the audition. I get called. They called me before I even leave the parking lot. They're like, "We'd like you to come back tomorrow for roundtable session." So you're alone with the producers, kind of like you see on American Idol, I guess. I've seen one episode of that show, so don't quote me on that. But they ask you some questions and some scenarios, you tell your stories, blah, blah, blah. And then they decide they want you to come back for the second day, which I later learned they ask people to come back for the second days because they want to see how they interact with the people that they've clearly already asked to be on the show. There was a gentleman that looked like he could bench press me and my dad at the same time, and then a girl that could have clearly auditioned for Maxim. And they would ask the regular folks
the
a
beautiful
question,
people,
and then wait for your answer, cut me off, and then be like, okay, how would you respond to that to the people that they've clearly asked to be on the show? So, it was a cool experience, but I was steaming mad by the time I got home because I thought I had a legit shot, and then it's like, no,
you were getting played.
The girl that was in
just a pawn.
The girl that was in my group, Alyssa, ironically also named Alyssa, actually ended up being on that show. So I guess I could say I met a D-level celebrity.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. What season would that have been?
19, 20, one of the two.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
We're only in season 24 right now.
Deep crates.
2018, whatever year that would have been.
Wow. Man, just think.
You have you ever auditioned for anything like that?
No, God no, hell no.
You wouldn't do it?
I don't know that I
would.
Win
$500,000?
I don't have. I don't think I have the personality that reality TV shows would be like. Yes, this guy belongs on the reality TV show.
That means you probably win.
I would be
because the guys with the personality always lose.
I would sit there and probably just laugh at everything that was there wouldn't be any. If I went through auditions, there wouldn't be anything that would be outstanding about me or anything like that.
Why are you here?
Right. It would be a little bit more like that. I wouldn't fit into that crowd. I don't think. But
I dated an ex, long distance relationship. Yeah, things have changed since then. But she had a beautiful voice. She tried out for American Idol in St. Louis. That was quite an experience, just waiting and sitting in the crowd. You get a lot of warming up, which turns into full on choir practice.
Yeah.
And then you see the rejects, the people who were rejected. You can clearly tell
the William Hungs of the world.
Yeah, some of them are leaving cursing, saying they don't know what real singing sounds like, and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh wow, this is real deal around here, isn't
I'll show
it?
you.
They're taking.
I'm gonna make it. And hey, in those people's defenses, more stars have been made from the losers.
Stairway to Heaven, one more time
for sure. For sure. I mean, how many people have gotten just laughed off of that show?
It's like that scene in The Office where Michael Scott auditions for the play, but does the whole episode of
Law and Order.
Law and Order. Yeah. Do you have a show if you were going to audition for you? It would be that one.
Dude. I would go on some game shows maybe.
Yeah, I'm a huge game show.
Like I'm not smart enough to go on Jeopardy, but I do play in my living room occasionally, and I'll probably get like, I don't know, 6 to 10 questions right around.
I
or
think
something
it'd be
like that.
hilarious if they just like put a troll up there one time that was like trying to like get questions wrong and just see how it goes.
If I just happen to make the show that had, probably about once a week or maybe even once a month, they'll have a run there, a column of a sports category.
Right.
And you just clean it out because they don't even bother buzzing in. The nerds don't even bother buzzing in. They're like,
what sport has a diamond? What is Quidditch?
We're just going to stay away from this. Hey, occasionally you'll get one. And if there's one person, he or she usually dominates the entire category. But that would be, I would have to get, insanely lucky.
Did you get to enjoy, speaking of weird sports, did you get to enjoy any of the Ocho? That was when it was on.
I did take a peek at the Excel spreadsheet championships. That was a thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't that entertaining.
You didn't qualify somehow, huh?
No. Yeah. See, I like to do them, but my spreadsheeting is elementary. It's elementary compared to the hardcore spreadsheeters. What they made them like, basically create a slot machine. Like or a formula.
That's awesome
for a slot machine. Yeah,
I think I would watch that.
Wow.
It was actually kind of cool. It took way too long, and
I can't imagine that being a speedy process.
It's not particularly exciting to watch, but
it'd be cool to see when it was done, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to see the sausage get made.
That's sort of the point. I don't know what else was on there. I didn't get to peek at too many things.
They had we were talking about this the other day. We were talking golf yesterday. They had fling golf, so it's essentially like golf played with a lacrosse stick.
Oh,
so I don't know if I would do it, but it was kind of a cool concept.
I would be better at that than I am real golf.
That's exactly what I said.
But you were allowed to use the club as a regular golf club, though. We saw a few guys use it when they get on the green, or they were just outside the green.
Sure,
they use it like a regular golf club.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you introduce another tool in there that is not my driver, and I could just throw something a couple 100 feet, or
you ever play disc golf? Have you ever tried it?
I've tried it. I'm not good at it.
No, we play pretty regularly.
It's been a while.
So,
you
got
me hooked on it.
After hours is frolfing.
We used to. That's what we should do. We should hit up the course and be like, "Hey, we'll come do a show live."
The after hours Frolf League.
402-951-1620. Get at us. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. We're always thinking.
Before we get out of here, I have to give credit where credit is due, and I always compliment Josh Otson whenever I get the opportunity to. Great take on Alf yesterday. Alf is absolutely an elite TV show.
The alien cat eater.
We went down an Alf rabbit hole on the show.
I had to learn about Alf. I don't know. I didn't know. I knew about Alf, and I knew what Alf looked like. I had no idea that he was some sort of science project, basically.
Yeah, the show is amazing, actually.
Wasn't Alf kind of like Brian the dog before Brian the dog?
Yes, that's a great comparison, actually.
Yeah.
He might be.
There you go.
That's gonna be the highlight of my day right there. Are you jumping ship? Are you bailing on the Royals already with that hat?
What are you talking about? No, it's just a hat. I would never.
Just a hat.
They've been horrible for most of my life.
They get 16 games back.
I'm not
first place, and you're automatically a Padres
fan. I'm not
fan?
jumping ship now.
Unless you love minor league baseball.
Why would I jump ship now? It's the worst possible time. I already suffered through the last 5 years.
I don't think I've ever worn a hat of a team that I didn't root for. That's not true. Somebody bought me a Texas.
You ever heard of fashion, Jimmy? It's called a hat.
You won't even wear a white Nebraska shirt into the stadium.
I want you to look at me right now, what I'm wearing, and ask me if I've ever heard of fashion. I clearly stopped caring about fashion.
It's just a hat. sometimes I wear shirts of things that I don't really care about either.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Does your wife dress you, Jimmy?
No, me fumbling through my closet at 4 a.m. in the dark is what dressed me today.
So you don't wear any other hats aside from the teams that you like?
Correct. I own a plethora.
Jimmy's hardcore, man.
That is pretty hardcore. You got to take it really seriously.
The only hats I own about 6 Nebraska hats and probably 4 Yankees caps, and I don't think I've ever bought anything outside of that genre.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely skew that way of teams that I root for, but if I see a cool hat, I'm like, yeah, I want that hat. Maybe it matches some of the other clothes that I have or something like that.
There's a picture that my friends send through our group chat every now and then of me at the 05 College World Series because somebody bought me a Texas hat.
And
I wore it. And
so one time you wore a different hat, it was
ever
a
in my
Texas
life.
hat?
Yeah, and the picture
a
makes its rounds on a routine basis through my friends' group chats, and I appreciate.
What is this?
That was a horrible mistake.
Yeah, and I'll never let it go.
No, you won't.
But before anybody called, when I said that, the phone lit up, and I assumed this is where it's going. We've got proof that that's not true.
I would. Do you think that? I mean, this is where the poll questions could actually come in handy. Like, do you think that most people approach it like you do, and that I'm only buying hats of things that I
give
care
him
about?
Crap about this all the time because he's got.
But I'm a hat guy. Like I'm
a hat guy. I'm a jersey guy. Yeah. I'm a collector.
Yeah, so. he walked in with a Cavs jersey on one day as a Bulls fan, and I was like, "What are we doing here?" I don't.
Divisional rival. It's just respect. You know what I mean?
It's just a shirt.
You would not catch me dead in a Yankee
with another man's name on it
and a Red Sox.
Now
hat.
I'm not
There's
gonna go.
No way.
Now I'm not gonna go around wearing a St. Louis Cardinals hat.
Right.
I'm not gonna wear a Chicago White Sox hat. But teams that have no real impact on me, like the Padres, sure, I'm on board. And look, the Royals suck. So and the Padres
have they won like 7 of the last 10, 6 of the last 10?
They are. Yes, I'm extremely excited about that right now, but I'm trying to temper my expectations.
That's it. You're trying to not jinx it's what you're doing.
Better record than the Yankees since
you shut your mouth.
Whenever that is.
I am watching.
Let John Carlos stand
and being very happy, very quietly in my own corner, and just this because we predicted this at the beginning of the year. They're gonna.
You did. I remember hearing this.
They're gonna come in under expectations. It's gonna be a disaster, and then
push for the wild card in August.
No, that's not what I said. I said they're going to do something that just keeps you hanging on.
What does the celebration inside the Happer house look like? If the Royals from 13 games back right now,
oh my God,
make a push in August and end up finding their way into the playoffs? Do you go to Kaufman for a game?
Oh God, yes, yes, absolutely. I want to go now because they've won 4.
Folks, Connor Happer's not here today.
Yeah. Hey, Rob Love filling in for Connor.
If you turn it on ESPN right now, you can probably catch him in the front row.
Last year, so the last game of the regular season, Nebraska played on the Saturday. I think they played the Michigan game or the Northwestern game on the Saturday, and I had it all planned out on the Sunday. I had a season-long bet with the Royals that they were going to hit their over. It came down to the last game of the season. Salvador Perez was tied for the American League home run lead. So I was like, you know what, I'm going.
What am I going to not be there?
I have to go. And it was the most disappointing thing of all time. They never competed in the game. They came in under. Well. I lost money. We got great seats, all because, I tricked myself. All because I tricked myself into believing that this was going to be a fun experience. It was October.
Did you go with the missus?
Yes.
How did that sales pitch go? Because obviously that had to be.
She's always down.
Really?
Okay. She's always down for a little weekend.
Well, I just meant because it is October and there's probably shillings being handed out for good seats. Honey, listen. Look at this ticket. If it hits, we get our money back.
I got this idea. No, she's on board. She's
real quick
in that way.
Real quick before we get out of here, did they get rid of Whit Merrifield too early?
Too late, I would say.
Too late, really?
Yeah, I was on the opposite of that.
Yeah, probably. You could have done better a couple years ago.
Okay.
When his value was a little bit higher.
I hear you.
This year he started off slow, but I think teams sort of realized that that was a little bit more of an aberration. He's still a good player and
he's a piece.
He's definitely I think the Blue Jays will enjoy that down the stretch to sort of plug him anywhere in the lineup.
But Toronto get a win over the Twins the other night.
Yeah.
No,
he's good.
Having a catcher interfere with him.
I like Witt a lot. His career in Kansas City ended in a weird way, and I sort of feel bad for him because he's been on a couple of the worst teams I've ever seen. And he's
how do you really feel?
Seriously, he came in 2016 after they won a championship, and they went 500 that year, and they haven't even sniffed it since. So that's tough look for him, and I don't know. I hope he does okay.
Speaking of baseball and Connor Happer, how was your first College World Series? I haven't asked you that yet.
It was great.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me?
Is the bucket hat still in rotation?
Absolutely.
I don't talk about hats. Yeah,
absolutely.
It was a good look for you.
I mean, I sort of retire it after the summer. It's more of a summer vibe thing.
Lawn mowing equipment
For sure. Yeah. So I mean, less, but next year it'll pop back up again. That's for sure. It was great. I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Do you think, as the resident 3 somewhat redheaded people at this station, you, me, and John Bishop should automatically get free tickets to the Ireland game and be paid for to get sent over there?
Ooh, yes. I haven't thought about it, but yes.
Mark Schechterly, if you're listening, we need you to accommodate those needs that we have. Thank you very much.
Yeah, send us to Ireland. We have red hair. We'd fit in great.
So I was actually supposed to go. I don't know. I don't think you were here, but when this plan was concocted, but we were actually going to get married in Ireland.
Yes, you were.
We were gonna. We found
like around the game.
Yeah, so we found a package that if we could get 50 plus people to go, it was going to be less than $700 a person for hotel, airfare, and for dinner and stuff. So at a castle, which is like an Airbnb essentially now for large groups of people. And we were going to go to the game afterwards, and then my fiance decided to get pregnant for some reason, so that got canceled.
Her fault.
So yeah, her fault, not mine.
How dare you?
It was immaculate. So that got canceled, but we were actually supposed to, we put the deposit down and everything. We were going.
Wow.
It wasn't just the pregnant. Several other things kind of came into factor. Apparently, when you're dependent on people to help you pay for a vacation by them getting to go, it turns into you being the travel agent. Hey, can you get us tickets to Scotland on this day? And are you paying for our food for the entire 4 days we're going to be over there?
That's the trick.
Logistics nightmare.
So we're getting married at the zoo in April instead.
So when were you gonna leave? How long were you gonna be there?
The 22nd, and we were gonna
be like the Monday or whatever.
Yeah, we were gonna be back. So we were gonna do that, and then we were gonna do our honeymoon throughout Europe. But
awesome.
So but instead we're gonna get married.
I'm sorry, no,
we're gonna get married at the zoo and hang out with the penguins. If I don't get a hold of the penguin,
cool,
I want my money back.
Yeah.
Was it going to be like The Sound of Music when you're going to do your honeymoon in Europe?
Yeah, I mean,
on the side of a mountain.
Yeah, you frolic.
I would have rather just
some frolicking.
Hung out in Monaco for the entire week, but whatever.
Man, I'm sorry, that's disappointing, but it's a great idea.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things that my friend's a travel agent, and we were talking to him about game tickets, and it just happened to go. What are you got any plans? Do you guys know what day you're getting married yet? And I went, light bulb.
We don't really have a date, but that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we're gonna wear our tux and wedding dress to the game and stuff.
Oh man.
Get on the kissing camera.
Would have been the stars of the show. I
wouldn't even care about that. I was more like, let me find a reason to trick her into going to Ireland. I was having this conversation with my best friend Quentin the other day, and I was like, hear me out here. We planned family trips to Colorado in 25.
Yeah,
and then we leave the kids with the wives. So he took the nice approach. He's like, well, I'd like to get my daughter to take it too. And I was like, hear me out here. You leave the kids with the wives.
Actually, no. Who hasn't tricked their wife into a family trip revolving around, or a non-family trip, a you and your wife trip around a sporting event, especially a Husker football.
See,
come on.
I think it's our duty as men to trick them into thinking it's about them and then making it about us.
I somehow convinced my wife that it would be a good idea for the rest of our lives to go see the Royals on the road somewhere every summer. We've done it the last 2 years, and it's been generally successful. We do whatever, but we see the Royals on the road. We went to Boston 2 summers ago, and now
what do you think of Fenway?
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's great.
I don't care much for the Red Sox, and I definitely hate Sweet Caroline, but I love the nostalgia and the old, all that stuff. Wrigley's great too.
I've told this story on air, but I went to the first game in Ann Arbor between Nebraska and Michigan, and there was this Michigan fan couple behind us. Incredibly nice. We're chumming it up with them the whole game. They're giving us crap. He was blown away by Levante David and was asking me questions about him. Thought he was the most magnificent thing he's ever seen. Well, they get the fourth quarter and they start playing Sweet Caroline, and he was a big guy. The guy behind me is a pretty big dude, and he pushes me really hard, and I stood up because I didn't understand what's happening. He goes, "Let me ask you a question. When the bleep did this guy get popular?" He's like, because in high school we hated. He was legitimately he didn't mean to shove me that hard, but he was legitimately mad.
Great take by that guy.
Neil Diamond was being played.
Now it's not an anti Neil Diamond thing for me. I'm actually pro Neil Diamond. There's a lot of good Neil Diamond stuff, but
people that suck at singing.
I'm going to hold a grudge against him for creating that song. It's not his fault that it made its way into professional stadiums or Yeah, I think the Red Sox started it probably, but I'm going to try not and hold the grudge against Neil himself.
You ever been to Ann Arbor?
Neil? No, never seen a game up there. No.
It's like we're spoiled here because like we just have the cathedral that is Memorial Stadium, right? It's up out of the ground and it's huge. I was surprised with how small the stadium looks because it's built down into the ground.
Yeah, those old school ones are like that.
And like
so you enter
you
at
literally
the top
can't
and you
see
just
it
go
from the
down
highway.
into the pit.
Yeah. So I don't know. And it was 110,000, but it was really tight quarters.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Was it loud?
No, it was also really cold.
Well, because I mean,
and they were killing us.
It's tough. It's it goes way back. If you're sitting in the upper reaches there, you're far away.
We actually had pretty good seats. We were sitting about 20 yard lines, about 13 rows up. So
I was saying, like, that makes the noise level a little bit more difficult.
Brutal,
I think Memorial Stadium has the opportunity to be louder now with the way it's sort of blocked off. The East Stadium's so high, the West Stadium's so high. But if you're sitting in that South, I mean, know this from sitting in the student section when you're getting there at game time and you're 96 rows up and you are a long way away.
The flyover,
long way.
The flyover rattles your seat because you're so close.
You are out there, man.
Yeah, we accidentally bought some. I'll throw my
bring your sunscreen as well.
My sister asked if we'd go in on half on season tickets a couple years ago, and without being smart enough to ask where they were, I said yes. And we were sitting south end zone, literally the second row up from the last
You're like,
row.
Really?
I was like,
anywhere else in the stadium.
This is why they were $400.
Can I refund? Can I do something?
We went to 2 of those games and sold tickets the rest of them. So
that's probably
cool. All right, buddy. We'll have a great day.
All right, guys.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one.
One more day in the week of Jimmy.
Yeah, that's it.
Excellent. That is the crossover. We will come back and start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
So it is just like Sabir says. It's just a walking move.
They SEAL Team 6 into Mount Doom.
I mean, what kind of an action-adventure story is this? You don't meander into the breach. Well, you attack the breach. You charge into the breach. What a dumb story this is.
It's Frodo. Imagine Nick trying to go into like a really protected area.
Again,
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Hot and dry weather continues Thursday. Expect mostly sunny skies throughout the day with a light south breeze. A little muggy in the afternoon with highs around 93. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Before you know it, Husker football season is going to be here, and you want to be in Memorial Stadium or following the Big Red on the road. And while you look for tickets, look no further than ticketsforless.com, formerly Ticket Express. They are your home for the best selection of Husker tickets inside of Memorial Stadium. And the best part, you'll never pay those outrageous fees like you do at other sites. Just compare. And you want to follow the Big Red on the road? Tickets for Less has you covered there too. Find the best seats at the best prices to all your favorite Nebraska events, all in one convenient location. Ticketsforless.com. That's ticketsforless.com. Get in the stadium.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal from Langfeld Overhead Doors gets you a half-horsepower chain LiftMaster door opener, 1 remote, and installation valued at $450 for only $225. A LiftMaster garage door opener with remote plus installation half off for $225 is this week's half-off deal.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
With video games, I'm often choosing between what my kids want and what I think is best for them. Hey, Mom, how about this one? Rated T for teen with violence and suggestive themes. Let me check the rating summary. frenetic combat, cries of pain, female warlords expose cleavage. Maybe the other one's better. The rating summaries are free. Use them, and you'll be armed with the world's most powerful weapon, knowledge.
For more information, go to esrb.org.
Suck it up.
It's not a big deal.
Snap out.
Just get over it.
We've all heard it. But if you're experiencing extreme stress, it's not just in your head. It can affect your entire body because toxic stress can hurt us physically without us even knowing it. If you've lost a job, worry about your next meal, or have trouble making it through the day, if you're feeling the effects of stress, we can help. Text stress to 211-211 to find a solution.
Howdy, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. Hey, grab the gear and take 'em fishing. Take a newcomer out fishing. Share a pic with us at Game and Parks Online, and then become eligible to win some cool prizes. Everything from a state park cabin stay to a nice kayak. It's our Take 'em Fishing Challenge. See more about that on the Game and Parks website, outdoornebraska.org, and we'll see you on the water. I'm Greg Wagner.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, apparently we got to address some things right off the bat here. First of all, yes, we are having issues with the stream.
We are aware.
We are aware. And the fine people behind the scenes, which do not include us, are working on it. We would like to remind you, conveniently at this point in time, that no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. So if you usually listen on the stream and you think to yourself, oh, I guess it's out today, or at least at this point in time, maybe I should take a look at the video stream that these guys have been talking about so often. It's an option to me. Just pull it up on 1620thezone.com. You could do that. You could you could just hop in your car and listen on the good old terrestrial radio. That's always fun.
Go for a drive.
Go for a drive.
Relatively inexpensive. Gas prices are down.
Get out the old boombox. Put the antenna up. I do that occasionally. So there's options. There's ways to listen or watch here at 1620 The Zone. So we'll let you know if and when that gets back rolling, but I don't know. I guess we had some computers update or something like that overnight, and it's made things go a little bit haywire over here. So we're working on it, and we'll get back to you shortly. Second of all, why? So we asked the question before, do you wear hats of teams you do not root for? As a poll question. Michael Severe responded, oh, hell no. Do you walk into traffic for fun? I would not put the two in the same category, personally.
Aggressive, my guy.
Calm down. It's just the hat.
We're not asking Yankees fans if they wear Red Sox hats.
Correct.
We're just asking,
We're not asking Nebraska fans if they wear Texas hats. We're not nothing. It's just, I have a San Diego Padres hat on today. They have absolutely no effect on me whatsoever. I like the hat. It's cool. It's poop brown, which is cool now. It's got the yellow. I sort of like them, but they have no impact on my beloved Kansas City Royals, especially when they are as bad as they are. And aside from that, I don't feel like I'm I have to defend the Padres just because I have a Padres hat on. It's just a hat. It's just a hat. People have very strong responses to this.
Passionate. You've really riled people up today, which is great because I'm going to rile people up later.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do the top 5 overrated movies of all time later this afternoon.
Oh.
Sure to ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, that could be good.
Actually, they won't because I'm correct in all of these takes.
The list could be good. The list could be good. So, no, I do not walk into traffic for fun. I just like to wear
poll question
different hats. Yeah, poll question. Do you like to walk into traffic for fun? Put it up there. We do have the Midwest Regional almost championship game in the Little League World Series. Iowa and North Dakota going on right now.
Yeah, well, this is winner to the finals here.
How is this still? How have they still not have a field for the Little League World Series? I figured there would have been one day of the regionals, and then we're just on to Williamsport, right?
There will be at least one ticket punched today. I know that for Williamsport. It's a slow burn, baby.
Not even there, and then the Little League World Series itself takes like 2 weeks. Really got to waste time before football starts.
75th anniversary at Williamsport.
Today's the Field of Dreams game, and this evening is the Field of Dreams game. Now, if you're wondering why Josh all of a sudden randomly decided to make a list today of most overrated movies of all time, and the fact that today is the Field of Dreams game, and that's the same day, that does not seem like a coincidence to me.
Oh, it's very coincidental. I try and go off topic a lot with these top fives. They generally have nothing to do with the news of the day.
Okay. Watch out for that one. Okay, I'll say this about the Field of Dreams game. I don't think they should do it every year. I think they should do it once every couple of years. Now it's tough because you built a ballpark specifically for it, so you want to use it.
Right, I think that's the thing.
I really like what they did with the, putting the minor league teams there. I mean, maybe you could do some sort of tournament or something like that. I don't know, like a 2-day event, 4 teams, or maybe even larger than that with some minor league teams in the area.
Maybe now hear me out.
Huh?
You could play the Midwest Regional for the Little League World Series.
Oh, yeah.
In Dyersville.
Except for you'd have to make the field 1/3 the size.
Didn't they build a Little League field back there?
Oh, they may have. They may have. One time a year. Maybe it should just be the minor league game. That's all. But it is exciting for the people of northeastern Iowa. Was just out there last weekend. There's some buzz about the Field of Dreams game.
Okay, that's good.
The teams were going into the Dubuque airport. The Dubuque airport was fired up about getting the Cubs and the Reds in town today.
Are they making their money back on this?
I don't know.
I know the tickets are expensive, but I know there's also not a lot of tickets.
Here's the other thing, and I remember from the College World Series game, the Omaha game that they did a couple of years ago with the Royals and the Tigers. I don't know that the teams were particularly happy about being there.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's about how you embrace it. And maybe a thing like the Field of Dreams game is a little bit easier to embrace than we're just going to play a game in Omaha. And it was Royals Tigers. So there was that too. But I remember the sentiment being sort of from both sides. Yeah, we're sort of taking a break from the normal action, and we had to take this weird like half-hour flight up from Kansas City. It just feels like a little bit more of a pain in the butt than they wanted it to be. I'm not sure how the Cubs and the Reds are approaching it. I don't know. Maybe there's some scheduling quirks in there that they could get at the end.
Joey Votto's very excited.
Joey Votto was fired up. He did a bunch of tweets about the movie The Field of Dreams.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think Big Kev is showing up tonight.
No Costner?
I don't know. I mean, Ray Liotta did just pass, so
oh yeah,
there might be some Ray Liotta tribute stuff pregame that makes it worthwhile, but I don't know how much legs this has.
They're gonna walk out of the cornfield again. It's gonna happen.
I mean, I guess because they do the throwback uniforms, I'd kind of like to see a team like the Cardinals or the Red Sox do this one time.
Like, I don't want to make fun of it too much because I think it's really cool when it happens.
Last year was really great.
I just don't
think it's going to be that this year.
There you go. I just think it's a once every 5 years thing, or maybe just once ever. And then you ask, okay, well, what do you do with the $1 million ballpark that you just built out in the middle of a cornfield in
rent it for weddings,
rural Iowa? Yeah, I don't know. There's smart people out there.
Yeah,
play some games there that just aren't Major League Baseball games. All right, we are off and running on a Thursday today on the show. We'll have a special guest. Fred Siegel, Freezing Cold Takes. This is one of my questions today. So the Freezing Cold Takes Twitter account has basically written a book. How do you write a book about freezing cold takes? That's one of my questions. We're going to go through a whole bunch of different stuff with him. He'll join the show here in about 20 minutes. He was on the Dan Patrick show yesterday. But he's got the book coming out, so we'll ask him a little bit about the book, and then all the things he remembers about people getting freezing cold takes.
Join us as we laugh at Colin Cowherd together, America.
That's what Josh is going for.
That's right. About 20 minutes away, we will pick apart the career of Colin Cowherd and just how wrong he is. Today is the 5-year anniversary, or not even 5 years, of Colin Cowherd tweeting, Mitch Trubisky, MVP, get used to saying it.
Hell yeah. I was feverishly searching Twitter last night and my name with like the words will be, won't be, I was just trying to find some takes that I had. Apparently I keep it pretty mild on Twitter. I save my bad takes for the radio.
Okay.
Because I was trying to give him a tweet that he could freeze in cold takes and say, yeah, that's a really, really bad take. But there was nothing. I don't know. If somebody can find something on my Twitter, that would be awesome.
Yeah. What's your worst take?
I don't know.
I know I was very anti Josh Allen because he didn't win anything at Wyoming or in high school or I guess technically he still hasn't won anything, but he's improved greatly, and I feel I was wrong on that take.
Does it mostly revolve around like NFL quarterbacks or college quarterbacks becoming NFL quarterbacks and how good or bad they're going to be? I feel like that's where the worst takes come from.
It's the limb we all go out on.
Yeah. I love this guy. Why do you love him? I don't know, but this is my guy. There have been some. I did enjoy myself some like Josh Rosen. It's like, yeah, he's definitely the one in this class.
I thought that had potential as well.
Yeah. But I don't know that I like to keep my bad takes for radio, so then they just get said into the air, into the ether, and then nobody sort of, remembers or picks them up. On Twitter, it's all searchable. The bad takes are searchable. And honestly, I seriously tried last night. I was like, where do I have something really, really bad? Now, a lot of my tweets are just about Husker football. And so they don't get they're not going to get perpetuated on a national level or anything like that. I guess I've had some bad takes about that. But I'm not one to go out there and just fire off predictions. Mark my words. The Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl this year.
You heard it here first.
That's not my style. Not my style. So we'll have Fred on here in just a little bit. We'll ask him about some of the most common offenders of bad takes. And if there's rivalries out there, if anybody's got mad at him for a lack of context, stuff like that, and in the book, which is out now. And then Jacob Padilla and Michael Bruntz will both join in the noon hour. We'll talk some Husker football with those guys as Nebraska is off today from practice. We'll hear from Mark Whipple. We'll hear from a little bit from Mickey Joseph, Casey Thompson as well. Why don't we do that a little bit on the other side, get caught up with some Nebraska football practice, some of the things that were said yesterday, getting closer and closer, Josh. 16 days now.
That's right. 16.
Oh, my God.
Sweet 16.
Oh, my God. Text line here, 402-951-1620. You can text into the show, by the way. I have a Brett Favre jersey, but I'm a diehard Rams fan. Thoughts?
Okay. Yeah, you're not you're not ticking off any rivalries there.
Yeah. You like Brett Favre?
Yeah.
It's cool.
He was great and There's Something About Mary.
Yeah. I really liked him in that movie.
He stole all that money from the state of Mississippi, allegedly.
Okay.
Cash that check, baby.
Maybe you just like, or it doesn't affect your team to a certain level where you're like, you know what, I sort of like this guy or this team because of the way that they're playing right now. Or you can have the take that I do and say it's just a hat. It's just a hat.
Just a hat.
I don't dislike the Padres. Otherwise, I would never have a Padres hat.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you're not seeing me walk around in a St. Louis Cardinals hat.
There's a lot of MLB hats that I look at and go, that's a good hat.
It's a good hat.
I would like that.
There's a lot of good hats out there, and I'm a hat guy. Got opportunities. I'm going to defend myself on this one. All right. Want to hear from you guys on the show today? Like I said, 402-951-1620. You can call or you can text into the show. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, and email Connor at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank inbox. The lineup today is powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'll come back. We'll hear from a couple of the coaches and Casey Thompson from yesterday next on 1620 The Zone.
You could win $5,000 to have the ultimate tailgate party on 1620 The Zone. Enter now at 1620thezone.com.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Did you receive a call or message that mentioned Social Security and demanded immediate action? Did the caller know your Social Security number or other personal information and tell you that your Social Security number had been used in connection with the crime? Did you feel worried that your Social Security number might be suspended, your bank account might be frozen or seized, or you could be arrested? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, demand your personal information, or instant payment. Email or text you pictures or documents, or use a real government official's name to gain your trust. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Do not be fooled. Hang up. Ignore them. Report this criminal activity to the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around, and every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
Just like that, it's hello back to school season. Luckily at Famous Footwear, you can find unbeatable savings on the hottest brands. Have a son who's determined to bring his A game? Lace him up in fresh Puma courts. Is your daughter's style as big as her personality? Have her show up in iconic checkerboard Vans. For a limited time only, buy one, get one half off, both online and at a local Famous store. Buy one item, get a second item of equal or lesser value for half price. Some exclusions apply.
All right, 16 days out. Mark Whipple, how'd it go yesterday?
But we had a bad day today. I think the guys were tired. They felt sorry for themselves. Defense did a nice job today. A couple turnovers, but I didn't like the way we responded. Same thing happened in the spring, and so I kind of don't evaluate it till see what happens the next day. We come back raw and then see what they come back with. Trying to build some leadership, but they've been pretty good all the way through. Just today was a down day.
How can you tell you guys are feeling sorry?
They didn't like getting yelled at. That way. Just, at least they knew. They didn't come out with any juice, and so sometimes that happens. And it's going to happen if you play 12 games, and we got to find a way. Got to take care of the ball better. There was a couple turnovers, but. The guys have been fighting. It's been a really good camp. It's been a real good camp.
That's Mark Whipple. Not very good. Not very good today. Just a down day for the offense. Casey Thompson, do your thoughts mirror the offensive coordinator?
Today was practice 12, and it was one of the few days when we say the defense beat us. So you got to take the wins with the losses for sure. And I called the offense up like 3 or 4 times today just to try to talk to everyone to let them know that we have to stay positive. We have to push through adversity. We need, quite honestly, we need more people to speak up on offense. We got, me and Travis Vokalek and Turner Corcoran, but we need more guys to speak up. I think that the defense does a great job of having a lot of voices, a lot of leadership. So I would say just, I told everybody today, just pick each other up and stay positive, keep encouraging each other. It doesn't matter if it's hot. It doesn't matter if it's the first or the fourth quarter. We're going to be in a lot of different environments. And I told the team today, we're going to play in Michigan. We're going to play in Dublin, Ireland. We're going to play in Lincoln, Nebraska. It doesn't matter where we're at. We have to stick together. We have to push through adversity.
I think people might hear that. And it was a bad day of practice yesterday for the offense and say, man, what's going on? I mean, come on. I just think, first of all, that happens. There are going to be bad days for both the offense and the defense, and days where they're going to walk off the field and they're going to feel disappointed about it. I also think in a broader sense that this is just the learning curve that they're in right now. I mean, the defense, maybe not from a personnel standpoint, but from what you are trying to accomplish from a scheme perspective, that's sort of understood at a fundamental level from everybody across the defense, people that have been in it for a couple of years, and they get to teach the people who are maybe new to the defense. I'm just, I am worried about the offense in general. But it makes, because of that, it makes sense that they come say, yeah, well, it wasn't our day today. This is just part of the learning curve. I want to see where it lands at the end of fall camp. I think obviously that's really important, but more so, I want to see where it lands after the first 3 games. And what kind of offense this is going to be, not only from a scheme perspective, but what's your role in exchange with the defense? How many points do you feel like you need to score to win? What's your tempo? How much are you passing? How much are you running? Sort of all of those bullet point questions. And I think they're still in the point in the sort of realm of well, we don't really have the answers to those questions yet. We're just trying to make it, look good for the first couple weeks or so of fall camp. It might seem like, hey, man, we're getting really, really close here. And yes, there's going to be some hiccups. It's part of the reason why, this offense is, I think, is just, it's going to take a couple games to really, really get it going. And Nebraska might have to lean on their defense a little bit more in the first couple games. But if you can survive it, and then sort of figure out who you are on the trip there, through those first 3 games and leading up to Oklahoma, then you're going to have a chance. This is assuming that you don't drop any of those games. Other camp storyline right now, it's a couple guys who have been a little bit banged up. Talk about Turner Corcoran on the offensive line. Talk about a couple of the wide receivers now, including Trey Palmer, who was sick yesterday, Dakotas Crawford, who was held out. Mickey Joseph said you might have to talk to Mark about that one. Not anybody else, Mark. Guys being held out. Mickey Joseph sets he draws the line in the sand here.
That he has to practice.
And this is, by the way, he's talking about Omar Manning.
That he has to practice. He has to practice. He has to play through nicks. He has to play through them. We're not here in Nebraska. We're not going to play you hurt. But if you got a nick, we're going to ask you to try and go through it. And he's learning how to do that.
Omar is?
Yes.
That's about Omar Manning. That was the follow-up from Sipple there. Omar? Omar? Look, this is a thing. This is a real thing in football. And doesn't matter how much depth you do or you don't have. And the fact of the matter is we don't know the quote unquote injuries or the nicks or what they're sort of suffering from, but coaches want to see you guys play through that. And they also don't want to hear the excuses of, well, I'm a little beat up right now. Because you're going to be beat up during the season. Now, Nebraska is set up with 2 pretty decent bye weeks coming at pretty nice times as far as the schedule is concerned. But this is a thing in football. You're just not going to be healthy all the time. Maybe you feel 100% for the first quarter of the first game, but when you take a bruise on, wherever, you're going to have to play through that.
That's what Dan Campbell said during Hard Knocks.
Yeah, can't force you out of the game.
This is the best you're going to feel until March.
He's right. That is absolutely a football thing. There's no doubt about that. So getting guys to sort of play through that, and then especially in groups where you're a little low on depth, and as Casey Thompson said, a little low maybe on leadership as well. You got to be out there. You want to lead, you got to be out there. I think that's a really important part. Also, I've mentioned this before. It feels like each time we talk to Mickey, he gets sort of progressively more like, I don't know what the word is. Angry's not the word, but a little more testy.
Chippy?
Yeah, chippy. Like, that sense is starting to kick in. Hey, let's play a football game.
He's done with your dumb questions.
He did shout out the media yesterday for getting the word out there about a couple different things. Here's Mark Whipple on the media as well.
They're all flocking over. Guys are like pigeons in Central Park, huh? Looking for tidbits.
Simple in the background. Ha 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 ha. Kind of. You're right. You guys are like pigeons in Central Park. I love that. Shout out to Mark Whipple, who will always and forever be Mark Whipple. He will be himself. There's no doubt about that.
They're all flocking over. Guys are like pigeons in Central Park, huh? Looking for tidbits.
And those were the important notes from practice yesterday. We're grinding. It's fall camp. Guys are beat up a little bit. You're trying to figure out who you are on the offensive side of the ball. Defense has, I think, a pretty good idea. Not there's not questions over there as well, but I think it's sort of we've reached that moment in time that we're you're going to start to hear the magical phrase here shortly, Josh, as we were on the watch for yesterday. Yeah, I think we're ready. I think we're ready. We just need a game. All right, coming up next. That's right. Well done. Put it on the stream right there. Fred Siegel, Freezing Cold Takes. He wrote a book. What is the title of the book? The something about the NFL.
Football media's most inaccurate predictions and the fascinating stories behind them.
It's a long book title.
It is.
Fred will join us next, and we'll ask him about some really bad takes that people have had next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Brian recently had us tow his all-wheel drive Mercedes from another shop. He was told it needed a new transmission for over $4,000. As it turned out, the reason he had no Ford was because his front CV axle was bad. We replaced the axle for a few $100, and he was back on the road.
Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Right now at 42 degrees, save up to 75% on Kratom, Delta 8, CBDs, pipes, candles, vaporizers, e-juice, and a lot more during our inventory clearance sale. That's right, save up to 75% on everything we carry during our inventory clearance sale. With the friendliest and professional staff, numerous locations, and up to 75% off, come to the source, 42 degrees. Buy your mom's house.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Shingles add beauty, protection, and value to your home. You want Certainteed Shingles. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is a certified Certainteed Shingle Master. When it comes to your roof, Certainteed Shingles and Carp's have you covered. Online at carpsomaha.com.
1620 The Zone. Live and local, broadcasting 6A to 6P in the Host Coffee Zone studio. Host Coffee, offering office break room refreshment services to Omaha and Lincoln metro area businesses. Discover a better break room solution for your office at sales@hostcoffee.net.
Psst, come here. I got a secret weapon that'll make your family happy. Real happy. It's my new caramel toffee cookie combo. My big chocolate chip cookie covered with caramel and toffee bits. Add any medium specialty pizza piled high with the best toppings and loads of mozzarella on top. Plus any medium one-topping pizza. Caramel toffee cookie combo. Order now. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
For unmatched cardiac expertise, put your heart in the right place with Nebraska Medicine, where you'll find the most heart advances in the state, telehealth appointments to make your care even more convenient, and a genetics clinic to help avoid future heart issues. With multiple locations, our world-leading care is just a heartbeat from home. For matters of the heart, this is where you begin. Visit nebraskamed.com/heart.
Home is with you wherever that may be.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
All right, Connor Happer, Josh Hodson back with you here on the Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. We now welcome in a special guest. Fred Siegel wrote the book, Freezing Cold Takes, NFL Football Media's Most Inaccurate Predictions and the Fascinating Stories Behind Them. And he joins us on the phone now. Fred, hello. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so my first question was this. We know about the Twitter account. We know about Old Takes Exposed, Freezing Cold Takes. How do you turn that into a book?
Well, I turned it into a book because what I did, I wanted to make sure to write something in longer form. I wanted to do something in longer form, unlike social media where I post past predictions from media that turned out to be wrong. I wanted to do something where I wrote stories and something in longer form, because the social media only lends to like 280 characters, doesn't give the context of the take. Yeah. And It just has a headline, and I wanted to tell the story, give the context behind a lot of the most infamous wrong predictions about some of the most famous players and teams in the league in history.
Well, you would think that context in some of the cases would actually help. Maybe that was taken a little bit out of context. In some of the cases that you've looked into, context actually hurts because it actually turns out that maybe the take gets worse.
Probably, yeah, for some of them. But I like to give it a fair shake and show that some people may have had it right at the time and some people didn't, or that everybody thought the same thing at the time. Like with Bill Belichick when he was hired by the Patriots, the majority thought that was a bad hire. Although there's some people who take the fall for it, who have had horrible takes spread around about that topic in the recent years, the past 10 years, that were unearthed. But I like to show people maybe everybody thought this, or maybe it wasn't so uncommon at the time. It wasn't a hot take.
Yeah. That was one of my questions for you, because I think that's one of the most common ones, whether it's we got a new quarterback for our NFL franchise, and this guy's either going to be the best or he's going to be the worst. You got to jump on one side or the other. My guess would be, head coaches pretty much exactly the same. You got to decide right when you start. I either love this guy or I hate him. Now it's sports media personalities, but it's also fan bases as well. Have you ever freezing cold takes an entire fan base?
Maybe not an entire fan base. Occasionally fans on Twitter, if it's a really, really funny one, but I usually stay away from them. But sometimes if the fan base boos or gets real excited, like all the celebration clips of when the Browns drafted Johnny Manziel, and the fans at the parties were going crazy, just that type of thing is essentially cold taking an entire fan base, just watching the celebration.
Oh yeah. Man, is that the most, because I think a lot of most people were in on Johnny Manziel at the time. Obviously it just didn't work out. Is that the deepest sort of treasure trove of bad takes that have, or takes that have not aged well? Or is there another one you can think of?
Johnny Manziel, but I think there are a lot of people who were skeptical about him.
Yeah.
But he certainly was a fan favorite and a lot of the media's favorite. Now there are some guys like Trent Richardson, the Alabama running back, was pretty much a huge treasure trove. He was supposed to be the next.
Oh yeah.
Great running back like Jim Brown type guy. And it was like unanimous that everybody thought he was going to be amazing. That was one of them that just completely flipped and went off its rocker. But that one probably the most out of what I can remember.
I'm sure you've been asked this one a million times. Is there one or two or three that really stand out to you, whether it's from a media personality, of just something that really didn't age well, the wildest freezing cold take that you've ever encountered?
Okay. Well, the one that from the NFL that always gets people is Colin Cowherd in 2014 wrote about Dak Prescott. He tweeted Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott will be a backup in the NFL, period, at tight end, period.
So definitive.
Now, I don't know if this was your station, but I have an Omaha.
Oh.
And this is the funniest one I've ever had.
Whoa.
Oh, no. I don't know if it's your station. No, it's 590.
Oh, perfect.
Let's go. Okay, Joe Quinn. Is he still there?
No, he's not. He's not there anymore.
Okay. Here it is, 7:23 p.m., November 30th, 2013, during the Iron Bowl, Auburn, Alabama. Here's Joe Quinn's tweet. If you're Saban, why not try a 57-yard field goal? Nothing to lose. Within that window, that very window, where the kicker ran out on the field to kick the kick six, there was 2 minutes that he posted that.
I was looking for I did a search I basically like doxed myself last night. I was like, I did a Twitter search with my name and I just wrote like will be or could be or should be or won't be. And I searched everything. Apparently I don't have strong enough thoughts. And I was definitely not going out on the limb during the Iron Bowl and saying, hey, nothing to lose here. Nothing can really happen, right? What's the worst that could happen? Those are the best ones. Aren't those the best ones? Like
love is a good one for if you want to do that.
Oh, okay.
Love.
All right. I'll take a look into that one too.
Pick, right? Pick.
Okay. This is good.
Great pick. Like everyone says pick. Yeah, that was the funniest one I found.
Wow.
Ever.
Amazing.
That one.
And it hails right here from Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, and I remember when I posted it, I don't know if he may have deleted it afterwards because he was getting so many notifications from it. But it was an Omaha station. I knew that.
That's fantastic. Who's the most common offender? Is it Cowherd?
Yeah, now it's a very, very kind of unfair question because of the fact that it's difficult to choose, given that there's like many prominent cold takers in the national media whose takes are so memorialized. Like Cowherd has an active social media team that posts about 10 of his takes packaged in clips throughout the day.
Yeah.
So he has a great archive to choose from. Now, meanwhile, like you guys, you probably don't have the same social media team. They're not posting all the stuff you say.
Oh yeah,
So
if they did, it'd be a bad deal.
Listening to everything you say, you guys kind of evade it.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love it.
So the people with the biggest archives have the most posts on my feed, and Cowherd probably has the biggest archive.
Well, there was an entire Twitter account dedicated to bad takes from Mike Francesa, and I missed that.
Oh yeah, he's a great account. Back after this, but like that account watched all the Francesa shows, so
it's a lot of work.
Francesa wasn't tweeting a lot.
Yeah,
that guy was just paying attention, and he was also paying attention to like the things he would contradict himself with, like with between days.
A lot of watching Mike Francesa for I mean, like they were gonna pop up. I'd imagine that he's a pretty common contributor to the account there, but that's a lot of legwork just to pull out a 30-second clip of the time that he completely contradicted himself.
Yeah, I mean I think he's one of those guys who listen to him anyway. So
yeah, right.
So he would listen to him religiously anyway. So it wasn't like, but yeah, he definitely wrote down things, and I mean he's like a hero to people who want to have entertainment on the internet.
Oh no, it's really funny, that's for sure. It's the one part I miss about Mike Francesa not doing a daily radio show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you often feel like people are? I mean, when you get tagged in these things all the time from all different walks of life and sports media, certainly. Do you feel like people are almost attempting to get on freezing cold takes, and then there's the whole other offshoot of like the gimmick of being wrong? There's TV shows in the morning that really thrive off of that. What's your thought, I guess, on that entire sort of process and how sports media is sort of trending or has trended that way now?
Well, I mean, I try to evaluate that. Like guys like Skip Bayless, I don't use that much on my feed. I could use him every day, but I don't, because it's like that. You question whether he's genuine in what he's saying. You don't want to use that because he's really all about entertainment more than what the substance of what he says. But there are people who do that. There are people who like to try to get on the feed to do one of those like reverse jinxes during the middle of the game. We'll say like the team that they're rooting for is definitely going to lose, and then after they win, he'll tag me. Like they'll tag me. I don't use those. They're ineligible.
Yeah,
Stuff
because
like that,
you're doing it on purpose.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of people in the media who go for entertainment and don't care about whether they're right or wrong. And if they're wrong, then they get a lot of engagement anyway. Probably more engagement than if they were right.
Yeah. You have to be. So what you're saying is you have to be sort of like dead serious, and you're
not dead serious, but there's got to be some. I got to feel like there's some sort of, it's somewhat genuine.
Yeah.
Post. A lot of people don't get sarcasm. They'll tag me something I think is clearly sarcastic. And yeah, I'll have to go back and look at the date, see what was going on at that time, to see if it was sarcastic.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so it's hard. You want to get genuine takes. At least have most of it be genuine. Maybe say it in a way that's more entertaining for engagement, but genuine.
And those shows too. And then like the thing that gets me about those all the time is they'll pop up, whether it's on your Twitter account all the time, or they'll have, just daily arguments for the sake of argument. And then they've made this bit out of the one time that they were right. I mean, Coward has it, where Colin was right. We make fun of it all the time. Like they'll have a huge celebration when they're right. Stephen A. Smith walking out in like a cowboy hat, right? Like all that stuff. It's sort of, and smoking cigars. It's become a bit in and of itself now.
Yeah, and then also where Colin was wrong is like, I said Tom Brady was going to get to the Super Bowl, not win.
I guess you were wrong.
It's one that's not even embarrassing to be wrong about.
Yeah, exactly. Fred Siegel's with us. Okay, I got one for you here, and we'll get you out of here maybe on this. What is the greatest sports media personality to athlete rivalry, right? You have Colin Cowherd, Baker Mayfield. We have, or maybe on the other side, maybe it's not a rivalry. Maybe it's like, I love this guy and I'm going to stand up for, everything he does. There's a lot of those, especially in the echelon that we were just talking about of those morning chit chat TV shows.
Well, I mean, there's a good ones I found in back in the day. DeMarcus Cousins with the Sacramento media, especially the TV guy. When he was in Sacramento was a big one. But the one you just said with Baker Mayfield, Coward's has had more than just one of those. He definitely has one with John Wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now there's one-sided ones like Skip Bayless is LeBron James shtick.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But LeBron James is smart enough never to acknowledge Skip's existence.
Yeah, because the day that happens, it'll.
Yeah, he gives Skip credibility.
Yeah.
And that's it. Draymond Green has a few. He has no, but like, I'll try to think of like who Draymond Green goes after. But Kevin Durant and Skip now. No, Russell Westbrook and Skip. Now those two guys give Skip credibility by acknowledging it. I say Russell Westbrook and Skip.
Oh yeah, Russell. He'll get back at it. He listens. The guys, and we were talking about this the other day. I can't remember, Josh, what it was. Oh yeah, it was Trayvon Diggs, and he deleted his Twitter account because he was getting all this crap from getting burned at practice a couple times.
Oh yeah.
And our thing was like, you can't let them know that you got to just sit there. You got to take the L's for a couple days, and eventually it'll go away. But if you delete your Twitter account or you fire back? That's when you add more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, I mean, what you should do is just not look. If I was a player, I would never even in a million lifetimes look at any of these mentions.
Because
how could that possibly be good for you? It just doesn't make any sense why you would ever want to put yourself through that. But yeah, he was very active when he was intercepting a million balls.
Right.
But when he's getting made fun of in practice for one play, which is part of the Twitter culture, which is really stupid.
Oh yeah.
Analyzing one play like it's indicative of anything. On the practice field
during training camp.
Unbelievable. I'm sure there's plenty of bad passes from Tom Brady in practice that go over someone's head.
Yeah. But that's especially during training camp or during the NBA preseason or NBA Summer League. People like to make the next Hall of Famer during the Summer League all the time. That's where it gets
Kevin
a little
Knox
out of control.
Was one of those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Kevin Knox was the ultimate that guy. I mean, I don't remember in the past anyone more that label than Kevin Knox.
He was a Summer League Hall of Famer.
If I did an NBA book, I would do a Summer League chapter.
Oh yeah, you would have to. There's been a lot of stuff to come out of that one.
Yeah. I remember Rudy Gobert was like a stiff Summer League.
That's right. I remember when he got his first contract. It was, And basically my response was, man, could you imagine? And I don't even remember what it was, like $40 million or something. I was like, man, we're paying Rudy Gobert for $40 million now. I turned out to be wrong on that one, I think.
Right. And Trey Young went like 0 for 10 in his first time on threes. And then there's clips of just him airballing a three, and then that's like, there it is. That's the validation for anybody who said Trey Young was going to be a bust.
Or maybe even further than the summer league, like the Lifetime Fitness workouts by like Carmelo Anthony shooting jump shots in the corner. Those are great too.
Yeah. Carmelo's got ardent defenders.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Carmelo guys.
Yeah.
Has an athlete ever sent you a take that they wanted exposed?
Yeah, I mean, one time I had Patrick Mahomes tag my feet for something he said himself. It was during a Texas game. I think it was during the COVID year. Texas Tech was winning by a lot. Texas came back at the very end of the game. Mahomes was bragging about it. That Texas Tech had already won, and he tagged himself. I didn't even know he knew the feed. Like Draymond Green was tagging me all over the place with stuff after the Olympics. And he is like the perfect guy for it, to give attention to my feed.
Yeah, that's
he's like
perfect.
To brag. It's like during the Olympics this year or last summer, because during the first round, like the round where you play every team, the round robin round, they lost. Team USA.
Yeah.
And then everyone's burying Popovich and everybody, like the team sucked, whatever, and then they won the gold. And then after that, like Draymond Green kept tagging me in all these different tweets.
That's exactly what you need. That is exactly what you're going for, right?
He is the perfect guy for it. He is more than that. He's one of those guys who's unlike Trayvon Diggs. He's the opposite.
Right.
He will not be. He will go after anybody and not let that bother him at all.
Yeah, Kevin Durant. I mean, Kevin Durant is a little in both corners, right? He's definitely aware of everything.
I think Kevin Durant seems a little sensitive. I mean, he's going after some people who are just. You gotta let that go.
Yeah, I sort of appreciate sometimes his like hyper awareness, and not denying the burner accounts and stuff like that. Like it's sort of part of his brand now, which I think is funny.
Yeah. I mean, for years he didn't even touch it. For years, and now he's just back.
Yep, time to unload all of this stuff. Hey, Fred, we'll let you go. I appreciate the time. The book's out. You can catch it now. It is Freezing Cold Takes NFL Football Media's most inaccurate predictions and fascinating stories behind them. He is the one Fred Siegel who wrote it. Appreciate the time. Great stuff. And the book, we look forward to its success.
Thanks, guys.
That is Fred Siegel. He wrote the book on Freezing Cold Takes. Really, he's just a massive database of bad takes, which could you imagine a more fun gig, like a more fun corner to sort of get into? That's fantastic.
For the Nebraska fans in the audience, there's a section on the 1996 NFL draft and the Baltimore Ravens' failure to take Lawrence Phillips. And why are you taking this Jonathan Ogden guy?
Now this stuff has now gotten a lot easier with Twitter. You could just search keywords and things like that. But yeah, the sports media, there's been bad takes out there for a while. Columns have existed. Blogs on the internet have existed for a very, very long time. Athletes getting moving their way. I'm intrigued by the now, and I think in some part at least because of the Twitter account Old Takes Exposed. Athletes are super aware of these things now, and they read their mentions and check their DMs, and it's like
a lot of downtime in the locker room.
Yeah, they are super aware of what's being said about them at all times. So, and you hear that phrase a little bit less now, but you used to hear it from coaches and from locker rooms all the time. Yeah, we don't really care. I mean, we're just gonna block out all the stuff that's getting said about us. I don't know what you guys write in the paper. I don't know what you guys are talking about on Twitter. That's for you guys to discuss. I mean, it's been proven over and over again. And there are varying degrees of this depending on who your coach is and all that stuff. But it's been proven time and time again that is just a lie. It's just a lie.
Liar.
They're lying. It's fine.
I love that he did the research before coming on in Omaha. What is Omaha's
Let's
most
check out
freezing
Omaha.
cold take?
I hope he did some research on me and tried to find some, but maybe came up empty again. But is it worse for me though that I just don't have any takes on there? Maybe I need to get more takey on my Twitter.
I'd like to see that from you.
Okay.
I'll
turn into more of a take boy.
It doesn't have to be like big picture things. Maybe it's things we didn't get to in the show each day.
Yeah. Here's a spare one for you guys. We'll put it out there. I mean, most of my strongest takes are about food and my dislike of certain foods that other people like, are the ones that get the biggest responses on Twitter. When I'm like, you know what, root beer? I'm gonna crap all over root beer today. Today's that day. Sour cream, I had that day too.
I'm gonna let it be known. Today's the day.
It's the day.
Oh, there goes those zone guys talking about food again. Well, that's the thing that gets the reaction.
The book is out. So you can, I believe it came out a couple days ago now. And you could order it online because that's what everybody does nowadays. And thanks to Fred for joining the show. It's very, very good stuff. And no, Joe's not at 590 anymore.
Nope.
He probably deleted his Twitter account entirely. I think he's a lawyer.
What could go wrong?
All right. Let's take a quick break. Any reaction you guys have to that, we'll take it. 402-951-1620. We'll come back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on the crossover.
When you have the tin of popcorn, and it has the 4: the cheese, the white, the caramel.
Oh, you're bougie. You went
and then
4. It's 3.
Or is it 3? Okay.
Yeah.
But there's always one that's
That you're-
about 75% gone before any of the others are touched. Which one is it? Caramel? Cheese. Mine's caramel. Oh, no.
All 3 are garbage.
Whoa!
Not a
Popcorn
not a
snob.
Sharp and Benning in the morning. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Hot and dry weather continues Thursday. Expect mostly sunny skies throughout the day with a light south breeze. A little muggy in the afternoon with highs around 93. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
No better time than now to focus on your garden or landscape. Come shop Lanaha's Garden Center, filled with the area's best quality plants, flowers, and trees. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanaha Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Buy your next vehicle your way from anywhere with Woodhouse. Start your journey online at woodhouse.com. Easily shop all new and pre-owned inventory. Explore payment options and apply for financing. Ready to purchase? Schedule your new vehicle for pickup from the dealership or have it delivered to your driveway. Need a little extra help in determining your perfect vehicle? Our knowledgeable and local dealerships can guide you to the vehicle that best matches your needs. Experience car buying your way with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
25 PGA Tour cards, 1 champion, unlimited action. Don't miss this year's Pinnacle Bank Championship, presented by Aetna and part of the Corn Ferry Tour, August 8th through the 14th at the Club at Indian Creek. Visit thepinnaclebankchampionship.com/tickets.
Need an appliance? Shop the new appliance truckload event at Lowe's, going on now. From refrigerators and ranges to dishwashers and laundry pairs, we have a large selection of appliances from the brands you trust. Plus, get store-wide savings by shopping other in-stock categories. Go to your local Lowe's store or visit Lowe's.com to shop the appliance truckload event and find what you need now. While supplies last, valid through 8/17.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry, you can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style, and they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line, so they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Hey, so what's the ruling on putting little kids on Pitching Ninja? So Pitching Ninja is an interesting place. It's sort of like old, freezing cold takes, but it's like a database of things that have happened that are, interesting. It makes the pitcher look really good, but there's also a hitter on the other side of it, and the hitter also happens to be 12 years old. I just watched a kid strike out. The Pitching Ninja would call it a sword. It's like a half swing where you don't know really what to do, so you're just going to try and put a bat on it the best you can, but really you don't have any chance. The kid from Iowa is shoving right now, 4 2/3, 10 strikeouts. What about all the little kids on the other side?
Look, if you want to get better, you got to open yourself up to critique. Am I right?
I agree. I don't have any problem putting them on there. Kids got to look bad. Sorry, all of Twitter's laughing at you. We should put some of these Little League umpires on there too. Have you seen some of these calls?
I haven't seen like good call, bad call. I've definitely seen some ump show stuff where they've really honed in on their
Look at this
called
kid.
strike 3.
Watch this kid strike out reel right now. He's making these kids look stupid.
Dealing.
Blake Bishop from Davenport, Iowa. Oh, he just got taken out. He's going to go play third base now.
Probably on that the pitch count.
Probably, yeah.
Iowa up 2-0 in the bottom of the
Ooh,
5th.
It's getting interesting. It's
One
getting
on
fun.
though, tying runs at the dish for Fargo.
Jimmy tweets that he says that he thought Patrick Mahomes is going to be bad. I don't think you were going to be on that island alone, Jimmy.
Yeah,
that's as we discussed with Fred. That's probably a bit of a treasure trove there.
the NFL draft and quarterback analysis is
It's too easy almost.
it's an inexact science.
It's too easy. And then we have the receipts afterwards.
Yeah, I got a receipt from Cowherd today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Cowherd take? Sorry, go ahead. Go with what you got.
That's a good question. That wearing a hat backwards is detrimental to the success of a football team.
It's a good one.
Gosh, where is it? I thought it was a little earlier than this. Oh, look at all those pictures of my adorable child.
What are you
I went to the
doing?
Albany airport 5 years ago today. Where's this Cowherd take?
What are you searching?
My time hop.
Oh. It came up today?
Yeah, it was Mitch Trubisky, MVP. I wanted to know the date on it. Not that it mattered, but yeah, I can't find it right
Hey, maybe there's still time for that. Maybe
Yeah,
he's
the
starting quarterback in Pittsburgh.
Steelers got to be really excited for that take.
MVP. My favorite one, though, the one that we got the most run out of here in Nebraska, was that Iowa was the fake ID of college football, which was great. I think that was when they were undefeated in 2015. Iowa is the fake ID of college football. They think they belong, but they don't belong. You can have a good season every once in a while. Iowa, you don't actually belong here. Your ID is fake.
It's an interesting
Oh,
analogy.
I think it's good. I think it's about right. Now, I don't know that Iowa thinks they belong. There is actually a certain comfort for Iowa fans in that they sort of they don't, but they're still consistently good. Like they understand their role. They know where they stand. Right? So I don't know if they think they belong. But in that case, they thought they did. They thought they had the requisite requirements to be into the college football playoff or considered for the college football playoff. And Colin Cowherd said, actually, no, you don't. You're the fake ID of college football.
Here's one from August 1st, 2020, from the Bally Sports North, who runs Twins games. Max Kepler is better than Aaron Judge. We said it.
Nice.
I don't think that one aged very well.
We said it. So it is to be true. Yeah, I think Aaron Judge is doing okay. But he tied He tied Roger Maris last night for career home runs. Did you know that?
I did not. Really?
Roger
Wow.
Maris only hit like, and maybe it was only maybe it's just Yankee home runs. But I think it was only like 200 career home runs. Yeah, so 275. And he basically, so he was with Cleveland and then he was with the Kansas City A's for a couple of years and then moved to the Yankees in 1960. So I'm pretty sure he only hit like 200. I think the number was 202. And I saw the like the little headline pop up on ESPN on the side. It's like, Judge ties Roger Maris for home runs with 45. I was like, wait a minute. I thought he hit 61. Yeah. Career home runs. Career or Yankee home runs.
You were talking about Francesa.
Oh, yeah. He's a great hot take machine.
Here's one from 15 months ago. May of 2021. He is on High Heat with Mad Dog. Mike and the Mad Dog.
Naturally.
Quote, the Yankees are lucky they didn't get Ohtani. End quote.
That, I mean, the account that we just talked about, that Fred and I talked about, the back after this, which is mostly sort of dead now, but anytime Mike Francesa comes up, it'll clip it. That account, they literally watched all of Mike Francesa, anything he ever did, listened to anything he ever did, and basically just clipped it all out, created some sort of a database, and just saved it for bad takes. And it got to the point where every prediction that he would make was completely wrong, completely incorrect. So there was like a Francesa curse going on for a while. Everything that he would say would be completely incorrect. Mike and the Mad Dog. Those are our godfathers, Josh. Sports radio godfathers. Respect them.
For better or worse, yes.
Respect them.
They are the godfathers. Got to kiss the ring. Don't wake Mike up, though.
All right, Josh Pate asked a interesting question today on Twitter. Who is college football's 2022 chaos team? Mike Schaefer made an argument for Nebraska. I have a hard time disagreeing with any of this, and I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. So it comes from a variety of different directions. But basically the sentiment is, yeah. Hey, Josh, could you see a world where Nebraska wins 3 games this year?
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, could you see a world where Nebraska wins 9 games this year?
Yeah. Yeah, there are 2 very divergent paths.
This is a chaos team.
Yeah.
This has chaos team written all over it. Your coach is on the hot seat. Your entire offensive staff is new. Your team, as far as the players, especially on the offensive side of the ball, are new. You have a schedule that could and maybe even should allow you to be like, I don't know, 7-0. I mean, come on. If we're talking about a regular Nebraska team, I guess outside of the last couple of years here, we are penciling Nebraska in for 7-0. Am I wrong? Maybe even 8-0. With the exception of Oklahoma.
Right, under quote-unquote normal circumstances, yes.
Northwestern, North Dakota, Georgia Southern, Oklahoma, Indiana, Rutgers, Purdue, Illinois. That's your first 8 games.
Definitely in years past, I would have said the floor is 6-2.
Right. You might lose to Oklahoma, and you might lose one more, just surprising.
You might slip up somewhere, but that's it.
But okay, let's just use those 8 games for example. Then, what is the best record you could see them being through 8 games? My answer would be 8-0. There is a world where they are 8-0 through 8 games, right?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Is there a world where they are 4-4?
Yeah.
Or is there a world where they're worse than that?
I mean, there's a darkest timeline where I think they might be 2-6. I mean, that is the darkest.
Okay, so
darkest timeline.
You're giving them North Dakota and Georgia Southern and losing all the rest of the games?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty dark timeline.
Do I think that is going to happen? Absolutely not. But
okay, then just
if it goes off the rails, it can go off the rails.
All right, so that's the argument for that. Which is more likely, 8-0 or 2-6?
Oh, I would say 8-0 is more likely. I don't think either will happen.
I agree with you, Josh. I think a lot of people would answer that and say 2-6. I think it's more likely that it goes terribly, terribly off the rails. And I'm not saying that can't still happen, but even if it does happen, I think there's a good chance that Nebraska is going to pick up a win or two in that stretch that you're not choosing them to. Now, I'm not saying that this is a likelihood either, but 8-0 is a lot. There's a lot more clear path to 8-0, and the explanation of it is this: if you get past Northwestern, you're probably you're almost guaranteed to be 3-0. The Oklahoma one is obviously big; it would take a big effort, but Nebraska's actually sort of been good in games where they've needed big efforts. They just haven't gotten wins in them. But maybe that's the flip the script game, as we were talking about with Chattel earlier in the week. That's your narrative game.
If you pull that one off, then you can then go down the schedule and make some assumptions.
Indiana sucks. Rutgers sucks. Purdue would be tough. Illinois sucks. Boom.
Whereas right now, like, I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt against anybody. I'm not looking down the schedule and making any assumptions.
Yeah, in the world where you could potentially go 8-0, that's sort of where it would have to go. So, yeah.
Who
Nebraska
else
is the biggest chaos team maybe of all time.
Who else would even be considered the chaos team of this year? Oklahoma? Clemson? Miami?
Oklahoma. What would be
USC?
Oklahoma's case for a chaos team?
UCLA?
So, okay, we'd have to come up with a definition of a chaos team for sure. How do you get to that point?
You need a mix of unexpected elements, right? And that generally revolves around new coaching staff, new
coaches,
players.
new players. Yep. You need a schedule that is either probably, insanely difficult or, frankly, I think Nebraska was a chaos team last year. Even without all the new players. It's like, how did they turn that team into 3-9? That's chaos. That's pretty chaotic to me.
I think given Clemson's early schedule, if they don't kind of get back into the top 10,
could be some fun.
They could be
it could go one way or the other.
What's going on in Clemson?
Oh yeah. Now, if it happens 2 years in a row, if you've been that type of team for as long as they've been, in the elite conversation of college football, you get a year. You get a year of leeway. You don't get 2 years. You get 1 year of leeway before people start jumping all over you.
I mean, if they're not 4-0 going into the NC State game, people would have some big questions around them. After that, I mean, they might be 8-0 going up against Notre Dame.
Let's take a couple questions here on the old text line. You can text in this show, 951-1620. What are your feelings if somehow Nebraska goes 7-0 at one point? So like at any point in the season they win 7 games, is that what you're saying? Or you're saying they actually start 7-0? I'll take it as that. My feelings if they start 7-0 are you better start 8-0, first of all, because Illinois is the 8th game. And the expectation at that point would be, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa coming up. Win 2 of those. And then bang, you got yourself a 10-win season. That's the anatomy of a 10-win season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you are everything of the last, not everything. You're still going to reevaluate in the offseason and figure out where this thing goes next. But in the midst of being 7-0 or an 8-0, everything is forgotten from the last 4 years. And you are dead set focused on winning a Big Ten West title.
Yeah, you'd be 4-0 in conference at that point.
Yeah. You are one of, if not the front runner to win the division. And
There'd be this weird number
I'm
in
telling
front
you.
of your name.
Oh, there'd be a number. It'd be a pretty small number too. I mean, Nebraska is Nebraska. Remember who they beat to get to 7-0 in 2016? Nobody. They beat nobody. You know what their number was by their name when they went and played that game up in Madison? I believe it was 7. 7 or 9, or something like that. 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range. And the talk around them was, yeah, I'm not sure. This is probably a little smoke and mirrors. You know, they played a really light schedule so far. But guess what? You're Nebraska, and they're going to want to put that 7 by Nebraska. You know, and I mean, take Minnesota from a couple of years ago as well in 19 when they had their little run. Nobody was really sure about them. Then they beat Penn State. It's like, oh, okay.
What was it? Iowa got to 2.
Iowa got to 2.
And everybody was like,
in 15.
That's not.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And if you're a Nebraska
run
fan
that
right
thing
now,
up there, you get that low.
you'll take that. You'll be like, you know what? Sure. Smoke and mirrors, fine. They're not a 7-0 team, but they're 7-0. Great. Fine. Don't care.
Yeah, everything's out the window. If you get to that point, you're 7-0 going into that bye again, and then you play Illinois coming out, you're 8-0 after that potentially. I mean, you are dead set focused on winning a division, and you have the confidence to do so at that point, because that means you would have gotten over the hump in at least one game that you weren't supposed to win, and it probably was going to take another pretty good effort or two to beat Northwestern or Purdue on the road, Rutgers on the road, right? The schedule gives you 4. And I say that full well knowing Nebraska's history with Indiana and Illinois, but I'm including them in there. The schedule is giving you 4. If you're any less than 4, it's a disaster. Because the schedule gives you North Dakota, Georgia Southern, Indiana, and Illinois.
Yeah.
The other 4 that remain are Northwestern, Oklahoma, Rutgers, and Purdue. And it's not like those are, the biggest world beaters either.
It can get you, though.
The follow-up text there from the text line was, are we talking about winning the West, or are we talking about college football playoff? I'm telling you, well, so, I mean, let's go back, and because I think this is sort of the route for Nebraska here in 2022. Let's go back to 2016. They rattled off all those wins. They snuck away from Indiana, right, to get to 7-0, and you're playing Wisconsin, and you're rolling in with a bunch of momentum, and you played pretty well. That game went to overtime. You lost in overtime. If you win that game, you're officially talking about college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm telling you. I know it's a hard world to imagine right now, but that is a world that we could potentially live in this year. But that's the whole theory of chaos, right? That's a world that we could live in. We could also live in absolute hell, and Nebraska has, 2 wins going into their bye week.
Players quitting, coach is a dead man walking.
Yeah. You think this is, I won't even. But is there a chance that Nebraska doesn't have a head football coach on October 2nd?
No.
There's no chance of that?
No.
Okay. That's when the buyout goes down.
It does, absolutely. And in my mind, the alumni angle, the hometown boy gets to ride it.
Saves him for the end of the season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you can get carried away with either side. That's what makes Nebraska a perfect contender for Chaos Team 2022. They are absolutely Chaos Team 2022.
Great question, though.
I don't even, I'm not close enough to any of the other teams to say this has the characteristics of a chaos team as well. But yeah, Nebraska could be literally anything, and I don't think it would surprise people. Hey, there is a topic right there. What would surprise you about this season? Whether it's a thing that they do, a team that they beat, a team that they lose to, like who they are on the offensive side of the ball, something that happens in the middle of the season, like a coach getting fired, or like, is there anything that could happen that would surprise you? Like that would really surprise you. I mean, obviously going starting 8-0, I think that would fall into that category pretty well. Starting 2-6 would fall into that category pretty well.
I mean, generally it would be something like losing to North Dakota but beating Oklahoma. Like something like that.
Sure. Oh yeah, we could dial up some wacky scenarios, that's for sure.
But I mean, even if you lost to Northwestern, I could still be like, well, maybe the offense was just kind of figuring it out, and they figure it out later in the season.
Okay, so think about that one, and you could text us, you could tweet in your thoughts on that. What could feasibly happen in 2022 that would surprise you about Nebraska? My theory is there's not that much because the variance on now you're bringing into account like your sort of biases and what you think is going to happen this year. Like if you think they're going to be bad and you say, well, it would surprise me if they started 4-0.
Trev not letting Scott Frost finish the season would surprise me.
Okay. It's a good way to start. So send those in. We may address those at some point during the show today. We have the odd news coming up next. Jacob Badil will join after that. Come back for more on 1620 The Zone.
You could win $5,000 to have the ultimate tailgate party on 1620 The Zone. Enter now at 1620thezone.com.
Brent Rasmussen of Mortgage Specialists.
With interest rates creeping up, the real estate market has very much slowed down, except for the people that were still planning on upgrading homes because of life changes. But one thing we want to share with people is that even though they buy a house now at a higher rate, we anticipate next year rates to be dropping. So the biggest point is, hey, let's buy your house now. But if you're going to be wanting to upgrade in the next 2 or 3 years, at least you have your house and can refinance down the road. A lot of people think waiting it out is going to help, but values continue to keep rising. So really that waiting doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. Plus, if rates come back down again, the market will get busier just like we saw. And you're competing against many different people, meaning multiple offers on a house. And so you might not get that home in the more crazy market. The market is getting back to be a little bit more normal, which is a good thing for all buyers and sellers.
Click mtg-specialists.com. NMLS number 5918, Equal Housing Lender.
You want to go to a professional sporting event, you want to go to a college sporting event, you want to go to a play, you want to go to a concert, go where I go, ticketsforless.com. When I'm looking to find the best seats to the show or the big game, I go to ticketsforless.com, formerly Ticket Express. Same great customer service, and most importantly with ticketsforless.com, no outrageous ticket fees when you get ready to check out. The ticket price you see is always the price you pay. Unlike the other guys, they don't tack on a per-ticket service fee at checkout. It's ticketsforless.com. Get yourself in the game today.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the Rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. The difference between your company and the ones that haven't been around very long, and what's the real value there?
We started the business in '85. That has to be worth something that you've been in the community for this long. If people are just out there to shop the price and not the service and the quality of what we do and the integrity of who we are, those people may not be for us, and that's okay.
The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Did you get the Clement Horizon clean last night? I don't want another barnacle incident. Where's Ivan?
Kiki's head of docking operations just jumped ship.
What do you mean he's sailing around the world?
She needs a new marina manager to help keep her head above water.
Yeah, the tide's perfect, but we are slammed.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Cards issued by Celtic Bank, member FDIC. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's credit cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.3% to their bottom line the first year.
If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, it's time for the odd news. Josh has that for us now.
I do.
I guess
I
it'd be
sure
that
do.
there's a story from Florida at some point here.
I believe there are 2.
All right.
So, prepare yourselves mentally for that. 2 trips to Florida in one day.
And we end in Florida.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna start in Florida and we'll circle back and end in Florida. How's that sound?
Okay.
A 50-year-old Florida woman made 11,000 calls to the non-emergency police line this year.
Just wanted to talk.
Yeah, you could say that. She made 11,000 harassing phone calls to a police emergency communications center who say the defendant loves playing this game, was the quote they used. Carla Jefferson busted Monday evening on a misdemeanor charge of placing a torrent of phone calls to the St. Petersburg Police Department and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. A criminal complaint alleges Jefferson, during a single 24-hour period last month, called the non-emergency line 512 times. Again, in a 24-hour period. I don't know if somebody can break that down for me. How many phone calls is that an hour? How many phone calls is that a minute?
5. Okay, say the stats again.
512 calls in a 24-hour period. This segment brought to you by Texas Instruments.
It's just my phone. 21 calls an hour.
Okay, 21 calls.
I mean, that's for an
hour.
entire day, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was up all day.
Probably not.
512 divided by, 18, 16.
That's fair. Conservative estimate.
Let's say 17 hours. She was
Okay.
awake. 30 calls an hour.
Wow. Jefferson's, the investigator said, harassed, belittled, sweared, and argued with police employees who answered her call. The context of these phone calls are vulgar, threatening, or obscene and contain extreme expletives, sexual innuendo, and belittling remarks to the communications staff, according to a court filing.
They need to get her a PGA Tour line.
Maybe, excuse me, Ms. Jefferson, you call this number from now on, and it's just somebody's voicemail in the building who doesn't work there anymore.
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one of those on my phone a couple weeks ago. They were looking for somebody else. Did I tell you about this?
No.
So somebody who won a prize a very long time ago called and ended up on my extension. And they told me the whole story about how they've called a whole bunch of times and they keep on getting, no response from people. We figured out that the prize that he won is, expired. We don't have it anymore, and it's expired anyway, so you wouldn't want it. But he keeps calling to complain about this, and somehow he got through to me on my voicemail in the office.
Sure.
Which is funny, by the way. And if you would like to call my desk office and leave me a voicemail, please feel free to do so. I'm likely not at my desk. I'm likely in here.
We also do reserve the right to use it for content.
That's what I'm saying. I hope that's fully understood by everybody. But if you want to call the front desk here at NRG Media Omaha and say, patch me into Connor Happer and leave me a voicemail, that's great. But just know that we're going to play some of it on the air. That's my,
What do you think was the straw that broke the camel's back in this Florida situation?
Some people just like to complain.
I mean, was there a number that she hit and people were like, all right, that's enough. We need to arrest her.
Yeah.
Investigators say that Jefferson's 11,000 plus phone calls account for approximately 10% of the total call volume to the St. Petersburg Police Department.
That's a relatively big city.
Those are big numbers.
Yeah.
I like that. We head to Washington State for this next story. Whoever smelt it dealt it. A skunk sprays a church burglar before deputies can make the arrest.
Oh.
A church burglar in Washington State got a smelly send-off after a skunk sprayed him just before his arrest last week.
Could you imagine getting sprayed by a skunk?
No, thank you. The incident happened around 3:10 a.m. Thursday. This must have been last week, when deputies responded to a reported burglary in progress at Church of the Nazarene in Deer Park. The caller told deputies that a male wearing a mask over his face and holding a flashlight was seen on surveillance, walking around the inside of the church and looking at audio equipment. Deputies arrived at the scene and saw a man later identified as 28-year-old Grant Simonson as he walked past an open window and began to climb out. Deputies demanded the suspect show his hands and get on the ground. He began to follow commands when suddenly a skunk came running around the corner and released upon him. Simonson was taken into custody without further incident.
I'd imagine so. It'd be pretty. I mean, so like, what happens to you when you get sprayed by a skunk? Are you like disabled in any way, or is it just that you smell really bad?
I think it's just that you smell really bad. And what's the police? What do they do? Do they care that you have been? Because they're going to bring you to the jail/holding cell. They don't want to smell you.
Hopefully, you don't have a cellmate.
I mean, it was 3 a.m. There was conceivably time to hose this gentleman down. Or is that
Put
just
him in
like,
there and don't worry about it.
Like, that's the consequence of your actions, sir.
Sorry, we don't have the facilities for you. And we end in Florida.
Yep, say it with me, everybody. We end in Florida. A naked man wielding a machete tried to steal another man's clothes. Volusia County Sheriff's Office says a naked Florida man threw a machete at another man and tried to rob him of his clothes on Monday. Deputies responded to an area on the Volusia County Fairgrounds shortly before 10 a.m. after a surveyor reported a naked man approached him with a large machete-style knife. The victim told deputies that the suspect was picking palmetto berries in the woods and ran out of the brush brandishing a machete, demanding his clothes, wallet, and phone. He said he began to give the items over to the suspect when the naked man hurled the machete and a handful of berries at him. Deputy said the handle of the machete hit the victim in the chest, and he was not injured. The suspect fled into the wooded area and took off in a white Dodge Challenger. You know, Spicoli at Sweet 98 drives a white Dodge Challenger.
Interesting.
He's had some time off this week as well.
Interesting.
What's going on at Sweet 98? A responding deputy realized the circumstances and suspect description were similar to another incident in August of last year.
Oh no, he's a repeat offender of this?
It appears so. The man was apprehended and charged with attempted robbery with a deadly weapon, aggravated battery, and aggravated assault.
So maybe this is the next thing. Instead of asking people, going up to people in public, hey, where'd you get your clothes? You just take them.
I like your clothes.
You throw some berries at them. You have a machete and you say, I really like your clothes. You're going to give them to me. Otherwise, I'm going to, make this machete go to work.
I like your Padres hat. Big Juan Soto guy. Give me your hat.
Sir, you're naked. Also, you're not going to get my hat just by throwing those berries at me. It's not going to work. It doesn't do anything. It's really odd. All right. Thank you, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
That is the odd news, where it was yet again odd. Once again, for those of you texting into the show or calling into the show, we're having a bit of an issue with our app right now. This is where it pays to listen, because every day I repeat a million times the different ways to watch or listen to our show. And I'll do that again today for people's convenience. The best way is to go to 1620thezone.com, because there is a video stream right there on the front page. Or if you're in your car, listen to 1620 The Zone AM. We're working on it. We'll get back to you quickly. Greg and Lincoln tweets in. Connor Happer is going to have so many voicemails now. We'll see. I hope I have a couple winners. I've always thought about this. This is my idea now. I have radio dibs on it. Nobody could steal it. But the idea, it's been done before. So people call in during a Nebraska game, and it almost works as a diary, and you leave a voicemail, and we play them after the game.
That's a good use of that particular bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could maybe open that up at some point. I would like to do that maybe at some point this year, and we can play them on the show on Monday. Here's your drunk, rambling thoughts as Nebraska was either winning, losing, playing well, playing poorly, and then the result turned out to be completely different. It's basically our own version of Old Takes Exposed.
Love that for us.
Jacob Padilla.
There'd be nobody to patch you in during the game, though.
No, we could figure out. There's ways around this. There's ways around this. We can figure something out. We'll talk to Jacob Padilla of Hail Varsity next on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a fabulous driver.
The Connor Happer Show
I'm one of the best friends you could ever have in your life.
on 1620 The Zone.
I hate you.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
25 PGA Tour cards, 1 champion, so much amazing golf. This year's Pinnacle Bank Championship, presented by Aetna and part of the Korn Ferry Tour, promises 4 days of fierce play as the best of the best chase their coveted PGA Tour cards and the championship trophy. Don't miss it, August 8th through 14th at the Club at Indian Creek. Buy your tickets now at thepinnaclebankchampionship.com/tickets. That's thepinnaclebankchampionship.com/tickets.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Here are your 2 big deal cheeseburgers. Enjoy your Sonic.
I love the sauce, don't you? So it's not just ranch. It's got a little zing to it.
Yeah, like a dilly ranch. Don't dilly-dally with this. Get to Sonic.
Don't dilly-dally, run.
The ultimate burger for pickle lovers is here. The Sonic Big Deal Cheeseburger, topped with crispy pickle fries, crinkle-cut pickles, and creamy dilly ranch. Get yours now for just $4.49. Exclusions apply. See app for details. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
And now, the only cure for our basketball Jones. Hail Varsity's Jacob Padilla on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone, baby.
Maybe that's why.
All right, recapping yesterday at practice. Devin Drew is here. It's great. Let's see. Mark Whipple referred to the media as pigeons in Central Park. That's great. Mickey Joseph wants people to play through injuries a little bit more. Thomas Fedoni's running upstairs. How do we read into all of it? Jacob Padilla of Hail Varsity joins us now. Hello, Jacob.
Hello, Connor. Have you guys located the hamsters yet?
To all of our most important questions. No, we haven't. That's why we have you. That's why we have you to ask the questions too, and maybe you can come up with something, or or not. But I guess we'll find out. What is? I feel like the conversation around Thomas Fedoni, it doesn't match up with sort of what we see. We know that first of all, we don't know exactly what the injury is. We don't know what the sort of timetable is for him. The way it gets talked about is, that's going to be way down the line later in the season. And then you see him running stairs. I don't know how to read into really any of this. What is your sense on when we may see Thomas Fedoni playing football?
Yeah, I'm just not really considering.
I'm not either
him as an option at this point. I honestly, the fact that he made it back at the end of last season, I didn't think that was going to happen. And to even play a little bit at the end of the season, considering when the injury happened, typical times line and all that sort of thing. So I guess maybe he heals fast naturally, and obviously I think it's pretty clear he puts in a lot of hard work as for the rehab, and still very motivated to show what he can do. But yeah, at this point, anything they get is a bonus. And I'm trying to remember the timeline for when the injury happened last year compared to this year. Can't off the top of my head, but yeah, I wouldn't expect him to be a part of the picture this year. At the very most, I would expect maybe something like last year, where he returns in time to just get a few token snaps to kind of trying to get out there. But yeah, it's unfortunate. But hopefully, I mean, if there's a coach that you feel comfortable finding a way to kind of coach him up while he's working through this, and keep him engaged, and find somebody else to step up in the meantime, it's Sean Beckton.
I think there's a lot of reasons why. I mean, for this, I think I would think about this team a little bit differently if he's healthy and if he's in there. First of all, I think he's obviously a really good player. It adds to that tight end spot. It adds to the pass catcher spot, which I think Nebraska needs a little bit more depth in general. I also think he has the characteristics of being a pretty good leader. He's pretty vocal. He's pretty outspoken. Casey Thompson talked about it yesterday and how they need some more of those guys at this point. He's a pretty big piece. We don't have to talk about him at all, but I mean, just the leadership component, I think he would add a lot to the table, and something that they're lacking in right now.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, just kind of what's happened to this point, with the hype coming in, and just the potential that they've got at some of these pass catching positions in particular, and not having all the guys out there at this point. Again, a guy like Fedoni is, I mean, I think fans are as excited for him as anybody, just based on how his recruitment went. And I think just his personality has endeared him to a lot of fans as well. And obviously Trey Palmer was missing from practice yesterday, so we didn't get to see him, which is unfortunate, considering that was a day that I guess they seem to be lacking the energy. He seems like a guy that maybe could have picked that up a little bit.
Yeah.
He seems like a guy that's always going to bring it, just with his personality as well. So hopefully some of these guys that are going, I know like Chris Hickman is another one that wasn't able to practice yesterday. Turner Corcoran is another one. So hopefully a lot of these guys that are kind of in and out of the lineup will get through these injuries, and they'll have a chance to kind of put their best foot forward once we get to the season.
Jacob Adele of Hell Varsity is with us. We were talking about this earlier, and it doesn't have to be a record, or a record after a certain point in time. But I'm just sort of trying to hone in on what we know and what we don't know about this football team. And as you'd expect, there is a lot that we don't know. Is there anything, whether, like I said, whether it's a result or a style of play or a stat, anything like that, that would surprise you in the first sort of couple weeks of the season, based on what you know and how it's sort of going right now?
That's
because our whole point was there's such a wide range of what this could be. And that's from all different facets. That's from a record standpoint. Like I could see him being 4-0 after 4 for sure. Or I could also see him being, 2-2. And maybe we're not just talking about the first couple weeks, but it's also from a football standpoint, right? Like, what are they going to do? Who are they going to be? How many points a game are they going to score? Who are some of their best players? Like, who's their starting running back? Like, I don't think we have definitive answers to any of those questions. So I don't think there's much for me that would surprise me in the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, from that, like, there's a lot of ranges and a lot of players that could potentially emerge and step up and be kind of the lead guys. Like, yes, just what would surprise me if this thing just suddenly clicks right away and they come out scoring 35, 40 points a game right out the bat and everything looks great. Just because of all the kind of hiccups that have happened this preseason. Talk about the guys that have been in and out. They're still trying to figure out what that offensive line is going to look like, and I think that's the piece of this thing that is ultimately going to determine how quickly they can kind of get this offense on track and kind of reorient themselves to what Mark Whipple wants to do and have that kind of success. So I guess I just think I think they made a lot of good moves, but they also had a lot of things go against them. And so they're kind of trying to balance all that this preseason and try to make a quick turnaround in a season where they really need to. So I think there's a lot that they still have to overcome. You got to learn how to win. And none of these guys on this team really have played significant roles on winning teams that have been there in those clutch moments, and they're able to get it done. We saw all last year that Nebraska just didn't have answers in those situations. So, but I do. So I guess I think it'll be a process. Obviously, Northwestern is the one team that they were able to handle last year without any problem whatsoever. So you got the added, I guess, situation with the travel and all that, but then North Dakota, Georgia Southern, so you kind of get to ramp up. You got some games there where you have a chance to figure some things out, and then you got that Oklahoma game there in week 4 that they got to ramp up for. So I guess I think it'll just, like, I'll be surprised to come out and maybe win 56-7 again or whatever against Northwestern in the opening one. I think there will be some growing pains early on, but if they can kind of sort through those early on, then they've got a chance to have a good season.
I'm with you, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week and how, if you find a way to win that game, you can really use the first 3 weeks to your advantage because of what you don't know about the team right now. Here's one thing, Jacob, that I don't know that is going to change between now and the opener, and really even in the first 3 weeks of the season. I would be surprised if we saw one running back take the load of the carries in those first 3 weeks. It just feels like we're going to see probably 3 or 4 guys, and I don't even know if that includes, Ramir Johnson with all of, that they talk about him sort of doing on the offense. I feel like when they talk about running back, they talk about him sort of separately because of what, what he can give this team both at that spot and at other spots. Like, I would be surprised if it was just one guy. It'd be a good surprise, but I'd be surprised.
Yeah. I guess a lot of it might be kind of how the game goes too. If a guy gets rolling, maybe they stick with him. And I think that's part of the problem, like in the past where they've struggled to kind of to identify that lead back, even like Dedrick Mills. I think they went away from him in a lot of games just because they weren't able to have any success with them early on. And it's hard to stick with getting 2 and 3 yards a carry, especially when you don't have a ton of confidence in like your third and long passing situation. So you feel like, all right, we can't keep sticking with this. We got to go get some yardage now. So they kind of go away from him. So like if the offensive line is able to carve out some holes and you get a guy that takes advantage of his snaps, then maybe that they will let that guy kind of roll a little bit. I think, again, they're still looking for the answer because you look at that backfield, and I can make an argument for any number of those guys to kind of emerge. I think at this point, Anthony Grant just seems kind of like the safe bet, just based on his experience at his previous stop, the success that he's had, kind of just his ability to I guess, more kind of be an all-around type of back. He's got the breakaway speed, but he knows how to run between the tackles a little bit as well. So I think that's probably a safe bet to get out there to be one of those guys that will get a chance to show that they can take this job and run with it. But yeah, like I thought it was interesting that Ramir Johnson was overworking with the receivers for some of the position work drills early on in that practice, while the running backs were kind of running routes out of the backfield and the quarterbacks were throwing to him. Ramir was off with the actual wideouts going through their thing. So, so it'll be interesting to see what role that he does fill on this team. It's clear that the coaches like him, and he's done some things in the past. What kind of progress has he made? What kind of improvement has he made from last year, where he did some things well, but he wasn't by any means kind of a game changer in any way. So you get those two, and then what happens with Guy Bergman Jr. coming off the injury? What happens with Jacques Ezient, who is very different from most of the other guys in that room? They've got some options for sure. So I think it'll come down to who is able to, when when they go live out there and it's real competition, and you got to find the holes and got to fight through contact and churn out some tough yards. Who can do that? I know that's Nick Henrich called out the running backs in particular with the way that they ran in the scrimmage that really impressed him. And I asked Teddy Prohaska about that as well, and he was pleased with the way that they ran the ball in that scrimmage. And it just kind of as a whole, the whole unit, in terms of those guys blocking up front and the guys getting downhill and running hard. So, but that was one scrimmage. We'll see. They've got another one before that they clear camp and really get into game planning, and then they're heading over to Ireland. So, yeah, I think you feel pretty good about Trey Palmer at this point, kind of being that guy in the wide receiver room. I think Omar Manning will have some kind of role in that mix as well. And then after that, it's kind of like who else is going to be in the mix. And we know the names. It's just, all right, who's going to get the most snaps and do the most with them at this point. I think the running back is probably even a little bit more wide open than that, especially with Ramir's kind of utility usage, adding another layer to that.
Okay, this is in the same category, I guess. Then I know it's a big question. It's a question we've been sort of trying to find the answer to over the last couple of years here, but maybe it's a little bit more defined with this group. But we just don't know what it is yet. What will be the offense's identity?
It's a very good question.
Yeah. So do you agree with that part? I think it's more likely that they find one and that they have one, but we just don't know what it is yet. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately going to come down to what they're able to do well. Like, even under Frost and they did a lot of things well. It's just they weren't able to put the points on the board. They weren't able to execute in the red zone. Like, you look at the underlying numbers, Frost's offense actually worked the way it was supposed to. It wasn't always the prettiest, and obviously there's some things that stick out that you kind of just you don't necessarily think to give the kind of credit it was. But ultimately, it came down to they just failed in the red zone, and whether that was Frost not believing in Adrian Martinez or Adrian Martinez not being capable. I know he really struggled as a passer in the red zone, and they almost never even attempted to throw it into the end zone once they were inside the 20. And when you are so limited, once you get into that range where the field really shrinks, things get tough. They really relied on those big plays to score last season. So like they did some things well. Obviously the quarterback run game was kind of the identity of the team last year. And then you start mixing in like Toure and Austin Allen in there as well. So like they had kind of an identity. They just weren't able to fully realize it, mostly because I think the offensive line and then a little bit with the quarterback play. And again, those two go hand in hand. So like I said, it's going to come down to that offensive line. Can they do their job? Because I think Frost knew what he wanted this team to be. They just weren't able to do enough things consistently well to realize that. So we know Mark Whipple knows what he wants his offense to be. He's done this a long time, and he's had success in multiple stops, and we know what he did last year. We know what he wants to do. It's just a matter of will they be able to do it well enough to stick with what he wants to do? Can they consistently block? Can they consistently protect the quarterback enough, long enough that he can make the throws and get the ball where it needs to go to get this offense humming? So it really is, like I said, going to come down to that offensive line, I think, because they ultimately, I think they may not have a Jordan Addison or a Kenny Pickett, but it seems like just they've got enough pieces that guys that can go out and make plays. They can be good enough at the skill positions to move the ball. And again, we'll see once they get to the red zone, can they finish it off? That's something that we can't really know until we see it happen. But it's hard to get the ball to your weapons if the offensive line isn't performing. And that ultimately, I think, is what last season came down to, and the biggest question facing this team.
Jacob, a good summer topic, and one that was posed by our friends over at the Creighton basketball Twitter account. Favorite Doug McDermott moment?
Yeah, and it was the one that they kind of used to broach the topic.
3,000?
3,000 senior night. I was there. The place was absurd. It's still one of kind of the coolest moments that I've gotten to cover. That actually, in part, like I wrote my kind of like post gamer column type thing after that, and then I ended up writing about it for Hale Varsity. Aaron Babcock at the time, Creighton commissioned him to put together kind of like our football yearbook for that senior class and that season. And so, like, I ran into Aaron down in San Antonio at the NCAA tournament because Creighton and Nebraska were both down there.
Right.
And he gave me his business card, said, "Hey, I'm working on a project, and reach out to me." So I did when we got back to Omaha, and ended up writing a piece for that and a lot of work, and that led to them kind of keeping their eye on me, which led to my job offer when I got out of school. So,
that's awesome.
There's just a lot of things involved with that moment. The way it played out, it was like got to 3,000 and it did not slow down, just kept going. Like probably they could not do anything to slow him down. Just the timeout, like Mac even said, like it wasn't planned or anything. It was kind of spontaneous. Like, you know what, we got to enjoy this moment here. Called timeout, brought him over, showed the hug and all that. So let the fans really kind of enjoy the moment as well. Just the atmosphere in that place was just ridiculous that day. So that I mean, anytime like I see the question like, what's the best like sporting event you've ever covered? That's obviously it wasn't a super close game. There wasn't any kind of game winner. Didn't go down to the wire, but just the moment, the experience of being there, and the atmosphere, and the meaning, just the historical meaning of that moment.
Yeah.
Knowing where he finished on the all-time scoring chart, that's always going to be right up there for me.
Well, we got to, I always say this, we got to really appreciate that because not only that game, but that whole season and the season before it, because we didn't know, I mean, Creighton was leaving the Valley. We weren't sure if Doug was going to come back and the whole thing. So we sort of got to have that experience twice. Obviously really glad that he came back, you know, for his senior year, but it was a completely different season. There was a lot of, it was the same team, but, you know, majority of the same team, but a lot of sort of unknowns. How would this work in the Big East? And then it ended up working and breaking all the, like, it just worked out where really that 2 years, I won't ever say about those 2 years that we didn't like, that we didn't appreciate it enough. And that feels really good to say that because it was, you know, obviously how special of a teams those were, and how special of a player he was.
Yeah, it was just cool for me because I was a year behind Doug at Creighton, so I was still a fan. Like his freshman year, like who is this kid? I remember going to the summer league and him like watching him play out there, and it's like at that moment you say, "Oh, this kid's a little different. There's something different about this kid." And then obviously there was talk of like potentially redshirting and all that, and then the injury to Ethan Rogge, and Doug stepped in and never looked back. And so it was really cool for me getting a chance to cover him after just watching as a fan with our season tickets, my senior year of high school. And then having following the journey over those 3 years and being able to see it culminate in a moment like that. Unfortunately, what happened after that wasn't nearly as cool. And that's made it I just remember sitting there with my friend Matt Borgo, the sports editor at the time for the Craytonian. We were across from the bench, and that whole second half against Baylor, we just kind of looking at each other didn't really have anything to say. So not a great ending for it, but we'll always have that senior day that Creighton fans can remember.
All right, Jacob. Appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good.
Jacob Badilla of Hale Varsity. Also, we get the Creighton talk in there any way we can. Jacob knows it as well as anybody. Good thought. I've read through all of the responses to the Creighton basketball account yesterday and all the quote tweets and stuff like that. And we all have ours. I always think of Doug's basically his first senior night, kind of, that they played Wichita State at home, last game in the Valley. He was absolutely unconscious. I look back at the game log of that game. So this is one of my favorite games. So his junior year, they are going to the conference tournament, but it's the whiteout game at home in early March. Doug was 15 of 18 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3, 41 points. He would just have those games, and they were pretty often. I don't know, once every 2 weeks, a couple times a month, where he just couldn't miss. It didn't matter what would happen. He just couldn't miss. And it's like, oh, well, it's one of those nights. And it just happened to be a pretty special game, too. That's the moment I always think of. All right. Enough of memory lane. We now chat with Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7 next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
And this is, again, conditional, but if Nebraska's on a roll, then all of a sudden this game moves way up. Purdue, I think, is a legitimate division contender, even though not a lot of people are picking them. But the history, too. Jeff Brom has kind of had Scott Frost's number. I get it. There's still this mental block about it. Oh, it's only Purdue. Well, it's not only Purdue. Purdue has been really good against Nebraska.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly clear skies and the hotter temperatures will continue throughout the afternoon. I'm tracking a high temperature of 94 degrees here in Omaha. For tonight, looking at clear skies continuing with a morning low of 67 degrees. That's going to set us up for an even hotter afternoon for your Friday with a high of 95. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
There are actually two kinds of cigars. The first is the one you smoke with beloved family and friends. The second, the one you enjoy with friends you've just met. And you'll find both at Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge. At Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, there's a well-stocked humidor with some of the best bands from around the world, and a bar with your favorite cocktails and other drinkables. So what do you say? Which cigar will you be enjoying tonight? Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off I-680 and 48th Street next to Cubby's.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Katie was recently told by a competitor that her transmission needed to be replaced. She thought the cost seemed a little too high, so she called us. We towed it from that shop and verified the transmission was in fact bad. We did the job and saved her over $1,500. Sometimes a second opinion can save you a lot of money. Don't overpay. Call Omaha Transmission.
Omaha Transmission, stepped into running smooth.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Experience, service, trust. Hallmarks of why McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air has been Omaha's choice for AC and heating repair, installation, and replacement for over 50 years. McCarthy's drug tests and certifies all their technicians. They have over 100 combined years in the service department, and the job will always be done right the first time. Join McCarthy's Comfort Club, and your AC and furnace will always be at tip-top shape with their twice-yearly inspection and maintenance. For AC and heating service and installation, McCarthy's1hour.com. Always on time or you don't pay a dime. McCarthy's Heating and Air Conditioning.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Many business owners and entrepreneurs today are drowning in unsecured debt and just can't stop incurring more. Business Debtors Anonymous is a 12-step recovery program where you will receive support for doing business and living life without incurring new unsecured debt. Business Debtors Anonymous offers meetings every day where members support one another to help them stop incurring new unsecured debt. You're not alone. Visit helpfordebtors.org. That's helpfordebtors.org.
Suck it up.
It's not a big deal.
Snap out.
Just get over it.
We've all heard it. But if you're experiencing extreme stress, it's not just in your head. It can affect your entire body because toxic stress can hurt us physically without us even knowing it. If you've lost a job, worry about your next meal, or have trouble making it through the day, if you're feeling the effects of stress, we can help. Text stress to 211-211 to find a solution.
Unclear, but we may have a phone issue too. Now Brunts is texting me, saying his call won't go through. I don't know. We might have a phone problem today. Would it surprise you if we had a phone problem today out of, all the other issues that we're having this afternoon? We'll get in touch with Michael Brunts here shortly. Or there is the alternative world in which we don't. And then we'll just keep chatting with you all here. Let's see. Let's go back to a couple of we're asked Jacob at the beginning of the previous. Oh, we got him now? This is great. We're talking about Thomas Fedoni at the beginning of the previous segment, him running stairs up stadium stairs. I seem to, everywhere we go, we find varying opinions on when and if that could happen. He could return at some point during the season. Why don't we ask Michael Brunts, who thankfully joins us now. Michael, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Not bad. What's up?
Everything good? We're working?
We're working.
All right.
Working. I kept answering all the calls and nobody was there, which
Yeah.
is probably a metaphor.
Well, yeah, definitely. It wouldn't surprise us if we had a phone issue today. I'm not sure. This happens in radio, as you know, sometimes.
Yes. Yep. It's just a problem with the biz.
Brunts, when is your best guess on when we may see Thomas Fedoni in a football game?
Let's see. So Nebraska has their bye week in late September.
Mm-hmm.
I would think maybe second half of the year is what I would say.
Okay. They have another bye week in October, late October.
In October, yeah. And that falls in the middle of the month. That one feels a little bit more like it might be an important week. I don't know. I mean, I've heard varying things all summer about, he's good to go. He's done for the year. He's, probably middle of the year.
Yes. That's why we're asking.
Yeah.
Nobody can come to a consensus on this.
Yeah, no, the consensus that I've gotten is that probably middle to late half of the season is what you're looking at there.
Okay.
And I think given his past history with injuries, I think there's also a little bit of care being taken to make sure that they get it right this time.
Yeah. Well, he's running stadium stairs yesterday, and it freaked some people
It
out.
was. It looked hot. He was in the sun, and it was a little toasty in Memorial Stadium yesterday morning. So he was getting a good workout in.
Brunts, give us your best case and worst case scenario for Nebraska's first 7 games.
I think best case, you run the table aside from Oklahoma. I think that one's going to be a tough. I think that's going to be a close game, though. I do.
How hard would it be for me to convince you that they could win that game too?
It feels like one of those games where I mean, maybe this version of Nebraska hasn't done it, but where a team kind of punches them. It's basically like the game last year in Norman, I guess, minus what you need to cut out the head smashing mistakes to make that one work. And I could see that potentially happening there. I mean, I do think that's going to be a little bit of a charged atmosphere. I think the fact that they played that team close last year too, I think that counts for something mentally, but you don't quite yet know what a Brett Venables coach team is going to look like at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can convince me of a close game. Maybe Nebraska finally puts it together and doesn't make the mistakes that hurt them. But I would lean towards a loss there, but I would at least entertain the conversation of a potential upset. Worst case, Nebraska is not able to kind of make all these transfers work. The offense doesn't take off, and you really struggle to stop the run, and you lose a bunch of games you shouldn't. When you just kind of look at whatever ESPN FPI is worth, I mean, they're predicting a pretty fast start for Nebraska, and they have to. I mean, if Nebraska's going to have any kind of a good season, they're going to have to get a lot of work done on the front end of that, and then win games in November that they haven't historically won in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the best case and the worst case scenarios, they're both relatively unlikely. So, I mean, whatever that equals, and you got your first 4 and then a bye and then your next 3 and then another bye and then Illinois. So you could really include the 8th game in there. I mean, do they have to be over a certain mark going into that last 4 to give themselves a chance? Or are we thinking too far ahead? Should we really just be talking about the first game and then
Let's get to Dublin first before we start getting into that. No, it's a fair conversation. I mean, the kind of thing cloud that's hanging over this whole season is what the future is going to hold for the Scott Frost and the staff, and I think it's pretty natural to start doing the math on things. It's interesting though. I mean, when you look at the games that are kind of being counted right now in the win column, are teams that in the last couple of years Nebraska has really struggled with. I mean, Purdue's in that category. That's going to be a huge one in terms of final record. You have to get both of those games against Indiana and Rutgers, and Indiana came into Lincoln and won the last time they were there. Illinois has beaten Nebraska 2 out of the last 3. So the conversation is always kind of, at least in my mind, like, yeah, Nebraska has the talent to be better than those teams and should win those games. But I mean, that's been the problem with the Scott Frost era at Nebraska, and even going back to Mike Riley's tenure too. The games that Nebraska should win just based on talent alone are not being won. So you chalk them up as W's, but also with the caveat of a but based on kind of how they've gone recently.
How did it hit you when Casey Thompson talked a little bit yesterday about needing a couple more guys to step up on the offense? I actually thought, as far as from a leadership standpoint, I actually thought he compared it sort of to the defense and how they have a bunch of guys who are able to sort of step up and be leaders at any time. And I thought that sort of reflected well. I didn't take it sort of too seriously. It's maybe just part of the grind right now, and those guys all sort of coming together. I guess, how did that hit you yesterday?
I think it's an important piece to me because on defense you've got Garrett Nelson, you've got Ty Robinson. Those are probably your vocal guys. I mean, you've got Henrik and Reimer, who have played a lot of football at Nebraska already. I'm trying to think who on the back end of that. I think Miles Farmer and Quentin Newsom are probably more vocal than what they're getting credit for, just kind of how they are with media. But who's your Garrett Nelson on offense right now? I mean, it's maybe Turner Corcoran. I think he's a guy that's kind of more on the vocal side, and he's been out. So it's kind of this way too, Connor, even going back to last spring with Nebraska baseball. I mean, you saw what happened when you went from a team with a lot of very vocal leaders that set a very clear tone to a bunch of lead by example guys. When things start going south, who's going to be the loudest voice and kind of, be the leader? I mean, when things are going poorly, you need somebody that's comfortable to speak up and kind of rally guys. That's not the time that you're kind of following by example. So they got to get that figured out. I mean, maybe it's Casey Thompson, maybe it's somebody else, but it's an important thing. And I think too that, as time kind of passes, I think it's a little bit more rare that you have those guys that are kind of the vocal leaders. I think it's just not comfortable for a lot of kids right now, just with, every kind of how they grow up, with social media and their heads in their phones and stuff like that. So
wow, Brunts, such an old man take.
That's an old man take, but I think it's true. I mean, I think when you look now versus 10 years ago, I think you would probably find a few more lead by example guys versus the other way around. So, you got to find somebody. It's really important, I think, and not something that you can overlook, especially when you have all these new faces, new coaches on that side of the ball. I don't like to go old man on that, but I think it really does matter.
No, I'm with you. No, it certainly does. One thing that I'm sort of encouraged about, and from what I've seen so far and heard so far, I actually think that is one of Casey Thompson's strong suits. I think he does a pretty good job there, and where Nebraska was sort of looking at their quarterback over the last couple of years and Adrian Martinez for a little bit more in that category, it feels more natural for Casey than it did for Adrian at any time in his career.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. I mean, I think with Casey and the few times he's talked, I think that he has had a pretty good sense of kind of how things work. I think he's obviously been at Texas. He's been around, high level athletes his entire life. And I think that he has a good kind of feel for that stuff. And that's not something that can really be taught. I feel like you're kind of just that way or you're not. And, maybe he grows into that. I don't know if, Scott Frost and Mark Whipple come out and say, Casey Thompson's our starting quarterback. I mean, they kind of said it's headed that way, but if that changes the conversation on leadership at all with him, or, he's viewed differently with his teammates, if that's the case, I don't know. But I mean, I do think that, for a side of the ball that needs, or that has so much in flux right now, I think having a voice or two like that to really kind of be that presence is really important.
Bruns, you mentioned baseball. They get a couple guys coming back. Maybe, I mean, I don't even know how many holdovers are going to be from last year's team at this point. Maybe you can. Are the 4 holdovers from last year's team Max Anderson, Bryce Matthews, Griffin Everett, and Shea Shanneman? Is that actually it?
Well, among the starters and kind of big pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I mean, pitching wise, you have Emmett Olson and stuff like that, and guys like that. But yeah, I mean, it's you're going to probably need some name tags during fall camp for those guys over there, because I mean, you're looking at 24, 25 new guys into the program. You're sitting at 44, 45 guys on the roster right now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how it all kind of comes together. But at the same time, it had to happen. The coaching staff knew that it needed to happen probably in the middle of last season. They were going to need to turn things over. But that's the main holdovers. And even, Shea Shanneman, he's probably going to have to go back to the role he had as a freshman, as a, kind of a high leverage guy out of the bullpen. I think Griffin Everett, was probably going to be your guy at catcher, but there's other guys that Nebraska feels pretty good about behind him that you're going to have to find the bats for. So a lot of moving pieces to figure out how you're going to make that lineup every day and who can play and who can't.
No doubt about it. Bruns, okay, we'll ask you one more before we let you go. Would you ever wear a non-Oakland A's Major League Baseball team hat?
I've got a couple that I occasionally throw on.
That's normal.
I did the 47 brand. They do that like buy one hat and get one free, and they pick it out of the mystery bin.
Yeah. You got you 24/7 guys in your mystery bin.
Yeah, well, the other guys hate the mystery bin, but I basically forced them into the mystery bin. And last time got a Seattle Mariners hat, which I wear to mow sometimes around town a little bit. But,
that's in division. You'll get heckled for that.
No, well, here's the worst part is I got two hats. The both times I did it, I got a Mariners hat and I got an Astros hat.
Oh, no.
I gave the Astros hat away. So I kept the Mariners hat, though. It's not a bad-looking hat.
People were getting after me for wearing a Padres hat today. That they have no effect on my Kansas City Royals.
You got is it the SD or you got the swinging friar on there? That's a big difference.
It's the SD. It's not.
Okay.
We didn't go big on it.
Okay. Well, I've actually have had the swinging friar hat in the cart a couple times, but I've never pulled the trigger.
Maybe it's time. I don't know. I say
it might be.
We got to normalize people wearing other hats of teams that they actually don't care about. And in Bruns's case, teams they actually do care about, they have feelings toward, they just don't like.
Yeah, you got to embrace the mystery bin too. Everybody has to do that. I think at least once. It's exhilarating.
Okay. Michael Bruns here for the mystery bin, the 47 brand. Bruns, appreciate the time as always. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Michael Bruns of Husker 24/7. That's what I'm talking about. That's my guy. Just a hats guy. He's a baseball guy. He's got his baseball team. He keeps that in one compartment.
Mm-hmm.
The other compartment, I'm a hats guy. I want to have some hats. Now,
I'm with you on this take.
Like I said, are you going to see me walking around wearing a Chicago White Sox or a Detroit Tigers or a Cleveland Guardians hat?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're probably not. I'm not going to go as far as Bruns there. Maybe if I jump down inside the mystery bin and it throws me a Detroit Tigers hat, maybe I'm interested.
Yeah, mystery bin's risky.
Yeah.
I like the thrill, and if it pays off, it's great. But if it doesn't pay off, you're like,
yeah,
I just wasted a ton
If
of
they
money.
send me a St. Louis Cardinals hat, like it's just, I'm done. I'm never going back into the mystery bin again. If I'm a Yankees fan and they send me a Red Sox hat, like, sorry, can you X out a couple of them in the mystery bin? They need to add some.
I absolutely put some parameters in there. I absolutely do not want ABC.
Anything else is fine, just not the Red Sox. All right, we will come back. Josh's top 5 is next. He is going to trigger people today. The most overrated movies of all time.
Watch out, olds. I'm coming for you.
Hello. Join for the fireworks next on 1620 The Zone.
You could win $5,000 to have the ultimate tailgate party on 1620 The Zone. Enter now at 1620thezone.com.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. If you've played golf this summer and you haven't been that happy with your game, Mike Faber, their director of instruction, he can help you out. Give Miracle Hill Golf a call today at 402-498-0220. Book lessons or book a round of golf, whether it's a quick 9 after work, a full 18 on the weekend, the Top Tracer building. You can get your golf game right. 402-498-0220, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is just, well, pretty awesome, actually. And it doesn't matter if you prefer the college dink or the big league crack of the bat. There's nothing better than watching a game with a cold, frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings with Oscar's Thai chili bourbon wing sauce. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I've been driving trucks for a long time. Safety is my number one priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Did you receive a call or message that mentioned Social Security and demanded immediate action? Did the caller know your Social Security number or other personal information and tell you that your Social Security number had been used in connection with the crime? Did you feel worried that your Social Security number might be suspended, your bank account might be frozen or seized, or you could be arrested? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, demand your personal information, or instant payment, email or text you pictures or documents, or use a real government official's name to gain your trust. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Do not be fooled. Hang up. Ignore them. Report this criminal activity to the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill serves pizza with an unforgettable pizza sauce and fresh ingredients in unique combinations of bold flavors. Try customer favorites like 3 Oinks and a Moo, the Mountain Man, or the Upside Grizzly Bear. Plus, there are daily specials and menu items like tacos, salads, wings, and burgers. Stop in and check out Timber Creek's family-friendly dining environment while enjoying a popular adult beverage. Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill at 178th and Harrison and at timbercreekpizzaomaha.com.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here at 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Nothing like a dog just walking in during the break.
Yeah, you don't get that every day.
Just came in, gave a little pat, left.
Robbie's going to be mad he missed.
Do I feel better now? Yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah.
It's nice. We have to move on to Josh's top 5, though. Josh's top 5 today. He will make fun of your favorite movies.
Top 5 overrated movies of all time. This has nothing to do with anything that may or may not be happening in Dyersville, Iowa tonight. We'll get to that. Maybe. Like that?
I do.
It's a broadcast tease.
God, come on. Take forever.
Number 5.
Before I get to number 5, I understand many will think Avatar belongs on this list.
Oh, yes, it does. It definitely does.
I contend no one ever thinks of Avatar, and it never comes up in conversation.
Actually, it's a great take. Avatar is like the most watched movie ever, or, the one in the movie theater that made the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's a lie. Nobody actually saw that movie.
It never comes up in conversation. It's not on people's radars. Therefore, it's not a movie that is rated.
Well,
so it cannot be overrated because no one mentions it ever.
I know that my point of view here is a little bit skewed because I'm not a movie guy and I haven't seen that many movies compared to what you guys have all seen, just sitting around apparently doing nothing for your entire lives. Just kidding. But I have still never seen Avatar. I certainly didn't see Avatar when it came out in the movie theater. I remember the pull to go see it. Here's a question that I have. Poll question. Have you seen Avatar twice? Is there anybody who's seen Avatar twice?
I'm sure someone has.
10%?
Yeah, it's got to be low.
Less than 10%?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, well, vote on it at Happer Show.
2.8 billion with a B.
Because you know how
the all-time box office.
You know how you tell a movie's good? You see it twice.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Avatar twice.
No. But number 5 is Blade Runner. The 1982 sci-fi classic starring Harrison Ford is allegedly the 177th best movie of all time on IMDb. It's confusing. It's slow. It's kind of boring. I've seen literally every version of this film, the director's cut, the hyper super Rex Bannon cut. They're all bad.
So, wait, the Blade Runner that came out in 1982?
Yes, the original.
The original Blade Runner.
The sequel,
Blade Runner 2049?
yes, with Harrison Ford and the guy who saved jazz, Kendall McGee, Ryan Gosling. Very good. Very good movie.
We love Gosling. No Gosling slander here on this show.
Love Gosling like McAdams loves Gosling.
Number 4.
Oh, look at that. Number 4 is Field of Dreams.
Wonder why.
One of the Kevin Costner baseball trilogy. The Steamroller speech.
Oh, look, it's Kevin Costner. Oh, look, it's a baseball movie.
He will not. I looked it up during the show today. He will actually not be in attendance tonight. No shock there. But he will not be in attendance. The Steamroller speech is very good. America moves along like a bunch of steamrollers.
That movie has moments.
Yes.
And that's, I think, why the movie was made. It has moments. It has scenes that you could pull out and say, wow, that's really great. It's nostalgic and it's fun to watch. Was it a good movie? I would say the same thing.
Also, I'm a play catch guy, not a have a catch guy.
I'm a have a catch guy, so I'm with it.
Okay.
I'm with it on that. Can I add to this to just
please
burn it a little further?
Please, let's go full root beer here.
Kevin Costner overrated. Kevin Costner himself.
Kevin Costner.
Thoughts? As the movie guy, I'm just going to lay it out there and I'm going to see how you take it.
Off the top of my head, I go, no, not overrated.
I feel like we talk about Kevin Costner too much for his body of work.
If I really looked at the resume, you could probably talk me into that. I think we probably used to talk about him a whole lot more than we.
Yeah, we probably don't talk about him that much anymore.
Yeah. Other than Yellowstone.
Kevin Costner's top 4. This is usually a good picture of what we have in an actor. Their top 4 movies on IMDb. They're known for.
They're known for.
Here's Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner's known for.
Okay.
The Postman.
Oof.
Dances with Wolves.
Okay, sure. Not a good movie, but I understand why that's in is known for.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
That movie's a little like Avatar. It was hailed at the time, and no one's brought it up since.
The Bodyguard.
Is that because of him or because of the song? I think that's a fair question.
There is a lot of Whitney Houston in that movie. Yes.
Yeah, you might be right.
Costner, I don't know. Maybe overrated is the wrong word. Maybe just not good. Draft Day sucked.
Draft Day. People trying. Oh no, Draft Day is good. No.
Tin Cup, Waterworld, Field of Dreams, Bull Durham.
Tin Cup's aight. Bull Durham's aight.
Bull Durham's overrated. I'll tell you that much. Bull Durham's overrated.
You've had this take before.
Yep. Like, I could tell you all of Kevin Costner's movies, and there's nothing that
Untouchables is good.
So has Costner won any Oscars?
Dances with Wolves would be where it's at. If he has.
Won 2 Oscars, C awards. He was in Dances with Wolves. He was nominee for Best Actor in a Leading Role in Dances with Wolves, but did not win.
He has won 2 Oscars. Best Director for Dances with Wolves.
So it was all Dances with Wolves.
He must have produced Dances with Wolves as well, because he won a statuette for Best Picture.
The Best Actor in the 91 Oscars went to Jeremy Irons in Reversal of Fortune.
Scar.
Not Costner, not Robert De Niro. All right. And just take the case,
Okay.
Let it simmer a little bit.
If I was the Supreme Court of movies and you brought that case to me, I would hear the case.
The best cases are when you it clicks for yourself. I'm just going to lay out the information out there for you. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just laying out the information that we all have and saying, let's think about this for a second time.
Like yesterday.
We called Kevin Costner great one time, and then we thought, yeah, Kevin Costner. He's Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, take another look.
And then Waterworld and The Postman happened, and we went, not so sure about this guy. It's very similar to yesterday's What If Eric Crouch Had Never Been Born take.
3. Combination of 3 and 5.
Number 3.
Love summer radio.
Number 3 is The Exorcist. Quote unquote, the scariest movie of all time is actually one of our nation's greatest comedies. The tension that was probably there in 1973 just does not hit the same here in year of our Lord 2022.
It doesn't.
A little child swearing will always make me laugh every single time, no matter the context. So sorry, not sorry. This is
overrated.
This is not the Best Picture nominee that it was.
A 12-year-old girl is possessed by a mysterious entity. Her mother seeks the help of 2 priests to save her. This brought home any awards?
I don't believe so. It's one of the 3 horror movies ever nominated for Best Picture.
Really?
Yes. Silence of the Lambs, Get Out. I think Jaws was nominated as well, if you want to count that as a horror movie. We'll get to Jaws here in a minute. Don't worry.
Oof.
It's a funny movie. She's spitting up pea soup everywhere. What am I supposed to do?
Okay.
Not laugh?
It was nominated. It lost to The Sting in 1974.
The Sting, good movie.
So that's aged
Exorcist
well.
Exorcist is fine. I like it. I enjoy it. It's just not the scariest movie of all time.
Ping Appreciation Club says Waterworld was great. You jackals.
We need to use the word jackals.
I agree.
More.
Good take there.
Yeah.
Even though he was using it to make fun of us. I never saw Waterworld, so I don't know. Why would I have seen Waterworld?
Waterworld is 3 hours long.
People know, we make fun of Waterworld a lot in society, right?
We do. I guess it's only 2 hours and 16 minutes. I could have sworn
If it feels like 3 hours,
I could have sworn it was
good.
a 2 VHSer back in the day. Back in the day, kids, we could not fit an entire movie onto 1 VHS cassette, so we had to break it up into 2.
Oh man, I'm gonna have so much fun explaining that to my kids one day. I had to watch.
What do you mean it couldn't fit on there?
I've seen the first half of Titanic 4 times. I've seen the second half of Titanic 6 times.
Which part had the boobs?
I think that was part 1.
Okay.
Here comes 2.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Jaws. The shark looks dumb.
I thought you were a Jaws guy.
I like Jaws. It's just heralded as this. Well, this is the greatest summer blockbuster of all time. I understand it started the summer blockbuster. It changed the movie industry. It's an important movie. It's a good movie. It is not a great movie. It's not scary. And I understand that's a subjective term.
No,
A shark looks dumb. Bruce is dumb. It is not the movie our parents think it is.
Just because it was the first doesn't mean it's the best.
Correct.
We've done shark movies better, like for instance, Sharknado.
Now see, that's where you're going to get me, because I don't know that we've made a better shark movie.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Well, I'm going to question your case.
Deep Blue Sea. We've made a lot of bad shark movies.
Oh, we've made a lot of bad shark movies.
Who's the shark movie guy here? Is it Damon? That's a big shark movie guy.
Yeah, Damon loves sharks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's one of Damon's things. Lee
does not get enough credit for being a weird guy.
I agree.
Leads us to the most overrated movie of all time.
Oh boy.
We're going way back into the archives here. This is a personal beef I've had.
Number one.
Across the decades, Go On Me with the Journey. 1941 brought us the best movie of all time, according to the American Film Institute. IMDb lists it as the 95th best movie ever made. It's not even a good movie. It's Citizen Kane. The 2-hour runtime feels like 4, especially now the quote-unquote twist is so culturally
you just hate
pervasive.
Old stuff.
I don't hate old stuff. Wizard of Oz is a terrific movie. It's withstood the test of time as an American classic.
All
it's
right.
the reason we go to the movies.
So why is Citizen Kane bad? Not a fan of Orson Welles?
Not a lot happens. I'm not a huge fan of Orson Welles. And spoiler alert, Rosebud was the sled. The whole movie is, what is Rosebud? What is Rosebud? What is Rosebud? But it's a movie that's like 80 years old, so we kind of know now that Rosebud is the sled, and once you know that, it takes all the sting out of the movie.
Yeah. So it just didn't age well, but everybody says it has aged well.
Yeah.
8.3 out of 10 on IMDb. Yeah, this is a well thought of movie.
Yes. Won a lot of Oscars, I imagine.
Ooh, good one. Yeah, I bet it just cleaned up. It won one. No, it had 11 Oscar wins.
Sounds right.
Best Writing Original Screenplay.
No, it won 1 Oscar.
1 Oscar. Nominee for Best Picture.
Writing.
Did not win. Best Actor, Orson Welles. Nominee did not win.
Yeah, because it was trash.
So what happened in the 1942 Oscars?
Yeah.
Let's go take a peek here.
What's going on at the Oscars?
I mean, how many movies were coming out in 1942?
Oh, How Green Was My Valley won Best Picture.
The
of course.
14th Academy Awards in 1942.
Oh, The Maltese Falcon was nominated. That's a good one. Suspicion, Alfred Hitchcock. That's a good one. How Green Was My Valley really cleaned up.
Gary Cooper for Sergeant York won the Oscar, and
sure, why not?
Shamed Orson Welles. Citizen Kane.
Shamed Orson Welles. That's what I'm doing.
This is weird.
Herman Mankiewicz wrote it. They made a movie about him not too long ago.
Walt Disney won an award.
Oh.
He won the Thalberg Award. I'm not sure what it was for, but there's a picture of Walt Disney up here talking into all the 42 microphones. That was before we figured out that we could connect all the that there's that we just need one microphone to do the job.
This is the microphone. Everyone will take this feed. No.
You
I need my own feed.
There's 42 microphones at every press conference.
Why?
Yeah, we didn't figure that one out till recently, actually.
I tells yous. Need my own.
Yeah,
See?
All right, thank you, Josh. I don't know if you made as many people mad as you thought you would.
I don't think it. Joel tweets in that the most overrated movie is the Rocky series. Damon tweets in, tough crowd.
Hey, Damon, what's going on? Big Shark Guy, Damon Benning. Just rename yourself on Twitter at Big Shark Guy.
Oh, wow. DG the Prophet tweets in, I've rated over 500 movies on IMDb. Only 2 have ever got a perfect 10 out of 10 from me. They are Pulp Fiction and Jurassic Park. That's even stingier than me.
The original Jurassic Park?
Yes, it's a great movie, Connor.
10 out of 10?
Yes, it still holds up. I think I've only given that out 8 times. That's 4 times as many as young Dylan here.
That's quite the club.
I'm a real 10 whore, apparently.
Just handing them out.
Mm-hmm. Like candy.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
That is Josh's top 5 most overrated movies of all time. If you have thoughts, please let us know at Happer Show. We'll come back. More up next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, This is 1620 The Zone.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. I imagine there are a lot of people out there with really bad roofs waiting for the magic moment. When's the magic moment?
Depends on what type of roof you have. It depends on how old your roof is. I have a customer right now talking about waiting for that hailstorm. Now it's leaking. There's a time where you can't wait for that hailstorm forever.
When it comes time to replace your roof, your gutters, and siding, there's only one call to make. The rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry, you can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style, and they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
Suck it up.
It's not a big deal.
Snap out.
Just get over it.
We've all heard it. But if you're experiencing extreme stress, it's not just in your head. It can affect your entire body because toxic stress can hurt us physically without us even knowing it. If you've lost a job, worry about your next meal, or have trouble making it through the day, if you're feeling the effects of stress, we can help. Text stress to 211-211 to find a solution.
Did you know that errors in hospitals are the third leading cause of death in the U.S.? That's a frightening statistic, but some hospitals are better at protecting their patients than others. That's why the nonprofit watchdog, the Leapfrog Group, created the hospital's safety grade, a letter grade that's assigned by experts twice a year to all general hospitals in the country. You can see how your local hospitals did for free and get tips on staying safe by visiting hospitalsafetygrade.org. That's hospitalsafetygrade.org.
Many business owners and entrepreneurs today are drowning in unsecured debt and just can't stop incurring more. Business Debtors Anonymous is a 12-step recovery program where you will receive support for doing business and living life without incurring new unsecured debt. Business Debtors Anonymous offers meetings every day where members support one another to help them stop incurring new unsecured debt. You're not alone. Visit helpfordebtors.org. That's helpfordebtors.org.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, a couple critiques, Josh. Number one, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is mad at me?
No. No.
Oh.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay.
On Twitter.
I hear it now. I hear it.
At Connor Happer on the JTech Instructions on Twitter feed. The list should be movies that don't hold up to the test of time, not most overrated. Thoughts?
I did go that way 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Okay.
It's sort of a little bit more what it felt like, but I'm fine with how you did it.
Trying to think of how I would change it if I were to do 2 separate lists.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like much.
Yeah. But
Fair critique.
Fair critique. Yes, absolutely.
Josh on the text line says Avatar is just digital Dances with Wolves.
It's true. Also, when I found out that the element that you could not obtain was called unobtainium, I said, no, thank you.
That's got to be a joke.
That's enough for me.
Wait, is that real?
Yes. The big search for the element that you cannot obtain is unobtainium.
Unobtainium. Well, that's sort of a spoiler, isn't it? Did they find the element?
I don't remember.
I would still like people to vote on the poll question at Happer Show. Have you seen Avatar twice? The first response that we got was yes, I've seen Avatar a billion times. So maybe I'm wrong on the theory. We'll see. Let's go back to the text line here. We're going to a question from earlier. When we were talking about sort of the ranges and what would surprise you and wouldn't surprise you about Nebraska football this year. We got a question in from Chris in Montana that I wanted to get to. Hello, Chris in Montana. Do you see a Troy or Northern Illinois type of slip up? Love the positivity you guys are going with. Do you see by chance a Northern Illinois or Troy type of slip up? I got the scared feeling that we might be coming from behind in the fourth quarter to beat North Dakota. I think we'll win, but coming back from Ireland, regardless of the outcome, could be interesting. Here's I guess what I'll say about this. I mean, once again, the results are what the results are, and you'll ultimately be judged on that. There's a lot of different ways that each of these games could go because there's so much question with Nebraska football in general. We spent a lot of time talking about it today and over the last 2 days. Like, what are they going to be? I hope by now they have some, and we're talking about on offense. I hope by now that they have some sort of sense of what they're going to be able to do well. I think they're trying to get a sense of who their sort of main guys are and who's going to touch the ball sort of more often. But even that is sort of a work in progress. I just don't know if we'll really have an answer to the question, and it's the big one, right? What's your identity? Who are you going to be? We might not have an answer to that question after, even after the first game or two, and then, the third game. I think you'll spend a lot of that time sort of honing in on not only who's going to be out there, but what some of your strengths are as a unit too. And like I said, I don't think that's a bad thing. With Nebraska's schedule and how it sets up, and I understand that they've had a really tricky time beating teams that they're supposed to beat. I've been on that train for a long time. So I don't want to be the, hey, look at the schedule guy. But bear with me for a second. There have been examples of this throughout college football, throughout recent college football. But not only that, specifically in the Big Ten West, if it sets up early for you to build some momentum, that can really be taken advantage of in the back half of the season. The team that always comes up to me, and I think a lot of what Nebraska has this year, schedule-wise, matches up to 2019 Minnesota. It just reminds me of that team. I'm talking about from a schedule perspective. And what they did during the first couple of weeks of that season is Tanner Morgan sort of emerged, and those running backs sort of emerged, and guys on the defensive side of the ball sort of emerged. I don't know if you would have told PJ Fleck before the season that they were going to go, that they were going to win 11 games. He probably would have said, "Oh yeah, because we're elite" or something like that. But really, what he was thinking is, we'll see. And especially after those first couple, they beat South Dakota State in a close one. They beat Fresno State in a close one. They beat Georgia Southern in a close one. They won a couple conference games. They continued to get confident. Like, it's not hard for me to paint the picture of what could happen if Nebraska starts 3 and then potentially 4-0. It could really get rolling. It could. And I think in those first couple of games, you have to sort of find out who you are. So what's their identity right now? And if I say, I don't think they have one, it sounds like a really bad thing, and it's certainly not preferable for this time of year. You want to know who you are, and you want to know what you're trying to accomplish and what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. But I just don't think there's any way they can really know that on the offensive side of the ball yet. There's too much new. I think they're going to try a whole bunch of different things. And what that ends up looking like could be a little bit messy. So to get back to the question from Chris in Montana, is it possible that they have like a Northern Illinois, Troy type of slip up where it just, this one really snuck up on us. We lost. Yeah, it is. It's certainly possible. Would it come in the form of North Dakota? I don't know. Would it come in the form of Georgia Southern? Yeah, that smells a little bit more like it. Could it come in the form of Northwestern? Sure. This one really got away from us. This one really snuck up on us. In a year like this, that it's so important that, the back half of the season is so important, and playing those teams in November is so huge. You really have to take care of business. You have to win the games that you're supposed to win. But I am not going to sit here and tell you that it's impossible that they lose to anybody on their schedule. It is. It's very possible. Would I predict it at the moment? I probably not. But yeah, it's it's certainly possible they slip up and lose one of those games. All right. Like I said, 402-951-1620. You could always call or text into the show. You can comment on our feed, on our video feed, 1620thezone.com is where you can find that there. We'll come back. We have a couple more things left to get into. Simple posed an interesting question in his column a couple days ago. We have to get to the best thing that we saw in baseball because it was really good, and it was specifically really good for Josh. Yeah. We have NFL preseason games tonight. Giants, Patriots, Titans, Ravens.
Hell yeah.
One of those is on TV. Giants, Patriots, I believe, is the one that's on TV.
It's on TV live. Titans are, well, no spoilers for what to watch tonight.
Nice. Very good.
It is on TV at some point.
Field of Dreams game is tonight. We'll still talk some more Husker football. All still to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys? Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
So it is just like Sabir says. It's just a walking movie.
They SEAL Team 6 into Mount Doom.
What kind of an action-adventure story is this? You don't meander into the breach. You attack the breach. You charge
Battle
into the breach.
of Hell's
What a dumb story this is.
It's Frodo. Imagine Nick trying to go into like a really protected area.
Again, Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly clear skies and the hotter temperatures will continue throughout the afternoon. I'm tracking a high temperature of 94 degrees here in Omaha for tonight. Looking at clear skies continuing with a morning low of 67 degrees. That's going to set us up for even hotter afternoon for your Friday with a high of 95. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
More with Connor and Josh after this.
We're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man.
On 1620, The Zone.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Summer is here, and if you have a gotta get it done this year project, trust the official exterior experts of the Huskers, J-Tech Construction. Call them for a free estimate on roofing, siding, windows, or even solar. They're close by with 3 locations in Nebraska, including Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. Need financing? J-Tech offers 0% interest for 60 months. Call 402-261-3682 or go online to yourexteriorexperts.com. J-Tech Construction, Nebraska's exterior expert.
This is Darcy with Dingman's Collision Center. We have run our business for years by helping the vehicle owner retain the value of their vehicle by working for them with warranted, safe, high-standard repairs. For this reason, Omaha vehicle owners have chosen Dingman's to repair their vehicles. Your loyalty has been shown through repeat business and amazing referrals. You've also voted us first place Best of Omaha for the past 17 years. We want to say thank you for choosing the Dingman family and our incredible technicians to repair your vehicles. At Dingman's, we'd rather be the best than apologize for anything less.
Email Sharp and Benning on the Equitable Bank inbox with your love, your hate, whatever your hot takes are. We're here for you. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
With gas prices surging to over $4 a gallon, high wage costs, and an annual inflation rate of 9%, now more than ever, it's critical for small businesses to save on health insurance. Hi, I'm Mark Schlange, owner of Marketplace Nebraska, and I can help. Stop wasting money on health insurance. I recently helped a small business save over $60,000 in premiums. If you own a small business and are struggling with inflation, let's talk to save money. Visit marketplacenebraska.com. That's marketplacenebraska.com.
1620 The Zone. Live and local, broadcasting 6A to 6P in the Host Coffee Zone studio. Host Coffee, building healthy and happy break room refreshment services to Omaha and Lincoln metro area businesses. Discover a better break room solution for your office at sales@hostcoffee.net.
Before you know it, Husker football season is going to be here, and you want to be in Memorial Stadium or following the Big Red on the road. And while you look for tickets, look no further than ticketsforless.com. Formerly Ticket Express, they are your home for the best selection of Husker tickets inside of Memorial Stadium. And the best part, you'll never pay those outrageous fees like you do at other sites. Just compare. And you want to follow the Big Red on the road? Tickets for Less has you covered there too. Find the best seats at the best prices to all your favorite Nebraska events, all in one convenient location. Ticketsforless.com. That's ticketsforless.com. Get in the stadium.
All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Football Scoop is going through some stories. The 15 most important assistant coaching hires in 2022. They highlight Mark Whipple today, and they give you the generic reasons why. You know why the Nebraska Mark Whipple hire is important. It's the save Scott Frost. It's the combination of the two, the entire thing. I would like to read you just the lead of this story, because I think it's great, and I think it's true. The longest flight in the world is offered by Singapore Airlines, a 9,300-mile journey from Singapore to JFK Airport. What does this have anything to do with Mark Whipple and Nebraska football? I was wondering the same thing. I think that's why it's a great lead. Here's the rest of the opening paragraph. At least that's the longest flight right now. The longest flight in the world could be taken later this month from Dublin, Ireland to Lincoln, Nebraska, a mere 4,060-mile journey on the map that in reality would make the Singapore to New York trips 18 hours and 40 minutes look brisk if the Cornhuskers lose to Northwestern on August 27th.
Got me. Really hooked me in there.
Yeah, it really did. So what do you think? Is that game pretty important?
Yeah.
So it's not only what it would mean for the team and the locker room, and we've questioned sort of their ability to jump out of these sort of slumps. It would provide a blow to confidence that this team absolutely doesn't need right now. They need more. Obviously, the only way to do so is stringing a couple wins together. But it also means a lot from the outside perspective too. Nebraska loses to Northwestern to start the game, the walls really start closing in on you. It's obviously a really bad look to start the season, and I might be accused again of backing myself into a corner. But I will say this: they got to win. They got to win that game. It's the most must-win game on anybody who's put out a must-win games list this year, and there's a reason for it. And it's not just because of the old, we like to say this because we're football guys. Well, you can't be 1-0 without being 2-0, or the only game that counts is the game, or you can't be 2-0 without being 1-0.
Taking it 1 week at a time.
1 week at a time. The
1-0.
only game that matters is the game right in front of us. Yes, it's all those cliches as well. But this team desperately needs a clean start to their season. What's better? This one just popped in my head. What is a more preferable situation? And these are both good, obviously, and maybe your answer is I don't care. And I guess if that's the case, then fine. But humor me, maybe. Would you rather have Nebraska win in the same fashion in which they did last year in Lincoln, or would you rather have them fight through some adversity and win by, win like 27-17 or something like that. Like
I understand the adversity argument.
A little fourth quarter magic, maybe something that you just haven't had in the last 4 years at all.
Yeah, let's just get one under our belt here.
56-7 would feel good too, or 52-7 or whatever it was last year. I feel really good. But I think that we were talking about this idea with Chattel the other day. Like, more so than getting wins, and yes, Nebraska's had issues getting wins, but they have 15 of them in the last 4 years. That sounds sarcastic. It wasn't, I promise. They have 15 of them in the last 4 years. Like, the problem hasn't been necessarily getting the wins. It is the sort of feeling that happened. What does the win mean for you? They haven't had any of those wins that have sort of meant anything. You know what would mean something? I'm going to paint you a picture. You're down 20-17 in the fourth quarter in Ireland, and there's 6 minutes left, and out you will trot, and you haven't really been able to get much going on offense, and out you will trot Casey Thompson and Mark Whipple and their brand new offense. Get out of here! Get out! Vinny Pasquantino just hit a home run. Sorry. Out trots Casey Thompson and the Mark Whipple offense, and there is a heap of pressure, and there is a buzz among the Husker faithful that have made their way to Dublin that says, "Oh my God, this is terrifying. This is actually my worst nightmare. We need a comeback drive to win this game. This is something that we haven't done in 4 straight years." And then they do it. And then they hold on defense and they win and everything's happy. And the long flight back to Lincoln doesn't quite seem as long anymore. I think that means more. That means more than, beating Northwestern handily 56-7 again. I don't know.
I think we'd come back on that Monday and go,
yeah, there's a lot of things they did wrong.
What happened? They blew this team out last year, and this year they just squeaked one out. It's not looking good.
We probably would. We like to pick things like that out. But it would be like it's different than look at us. We're just going through every scenario. It's different than like being up 20-3 and then hanging on in the fourth quarter and making 2 special teams blunders and, stuff like that. Like that's not the scenario here. Nebraska, the scenario that I'm giving you is Nebraska has played decently well throughout the game and then goes at the end and grabs one.
Yeah, goes and gets one.
They go and grab one. I think it's pretty good. And like that means more. That does more for a team mentally. Now, obviously, you run the risk of losing it and it being a crushing blow mentally. But that's what all those losses over the last couple of years and opportunities where you've had the chance to really get over the hump. That's where they've sort of gone against you. I like that. I think that's sort of an ideal scenario. Obviously, I'm not going to say no to, whatever this year's version of 52-7 is. I also don't think they're going to I don't even think that's on the table, Josh, honestly. I don't think we need to temper probably our expectations for this too, because I don't know that last year's effort against that team is repeatable.
Oh, you're going to be trying things with that new offense. You're going to be breaking it in, and it could potentially not look good in the first half.
But there's several reasons why. Like you're playing the game, first of all, not at home anymore. It's not a night game. They're better. You're different. You're much different. Whatever that ends up being. Like, I don't even think 52-7 is on the table. Like, I think best case scenario is Nebraska wins by 2 touchdowns.
Nice safe win.
Yeah, which is great. Like, and back to the original point, I'll take it. I'm not saying no to a nice comfortable win off the bat, but it does a lot for a team to face adversity and to be in a situation where nobody thinks you're going to do it, and then you do it. That's exactly the scenario that Nebraska has. So it's like a mini game inside of a game. I think the Oklahoma game last year for Nebraska not winning it, nobody thought they were going to even cover in that game, and it was a 3-touchdown spread. They went and competed. We had a 4-quarter ball game. Nebraska lost by a touchdown. Like, that meant a lot. They overcame adversity. So it's sort of about the game inside the game, I think, too. It's not just the game and its results, even though that's what we end up talking about in our summer conversations here. An email from the Equitable Bank inbox from John. Emails Connor at 1620thezone.com.
Hi, John.
If Nebraska loses to Northwestern, there's a good chance that they'll not be able to recover in a week, and they may well lose to North Dakota. That will derail the season. 2-10 would be the ceiling if that happens. Yeah, I mean, without being 100% certain, Nebraska's going to beat North Dakota. I think even if they lose and they're on short rest and everything seems bad, I think Nebraska's going to beat North Dakota. Put it on the list. Put it on.
Put it on the board.
Hey, look! I'm getting more takey. Maybe I can make it on Old Takes Exposed.
There you go. I hope you don't, but good for the show if you do, right?
Yeah, bad for me though. Maybe that's why I don't do it.
I'm just going to take the Nick Wright lane of LeBron is better than Jordan.
And just perpetuate that over and over again.
Yep.
Zach emails in. This is good too.
Hi, Zach.
You should try to get some of the Nebraska media that are traveling to Ireland for the Northwestern Nebraska game and do some of these food challenges. Apparently, there are a plethora of food challenges in Dublin.
Oh.
They have barbecue in Dublin?
Ooh.
Massive Irish Meat Fest Barbecue Challenge. Pit Bros Barbecue located on George Street Upper in Dublin City Centre, Ireland. That's one of them. Hogs and Heifers Bar and Grill and Swords. What? Swords County, Dublin, Ireland? That's a big burger. That's just a big bacon cheeseburger. Irish bacon cheeseburger. And then Pip's Cafe and Deli in Dublin, the Breakfast Roll Challenge. Pip's Undefeated Full Irish Breakfast Roll Sandwich Challenge. I want to see what these things consist of, but the pictures look enormous.
Okay, now.
I don't know if any media members would be...
I don't know about the
willing.
first one, but Hogs and Heifers.
Good name.
20 minutes away from Aviva Stadium.
Okay, hello.
Pip's Deli. Now that's a fairly generic name, but 16 minutes.
Pip's Cafe and Deli.
Okay. Now that's what I put into the search engine.
Okay.
And it spit out 16 minutes away.
All right.
So
are they going to have are our friends going to have cars?
Is there Uber in Dublin?
I'm sort of glad I'm not going because it sounds like a lot to deal with.
Yeah, they got Uber in Dublin.
Okay.
You can request a ride up to 30 days in advance. So you can book your Ubers now, guys.
All right, book them up. Get over to Pits and Hogs and Heifers. I would love to see any of our fine media folks attempt to eat a burger the size of the upper half of their body. Or a large breakfast. Or some barbecue. I hope a Nebraska fan goes over there and attempts one of these and gets one.
They got chicken nuggets in Dublin.
The chicken nugget challenge. The great chicken nugget challenge. All right, we'll ask our friends. We also have to, Josh, little peek behind the curtain too. We also have to start asking them like if they're going to be able to like come on during the week of.
Yeah.
If they're interested in doing an interview at like 6 o'clock at night.
We got to figure out who's going.
Yeah, we got to figure out who's going. All right, I'll send some texts.
Sounds like a lot of work.
I've received a text from one media member already that just says breakfast challenge ...
Okay.
Sounds like there's some interest there from one of our local writers.
Challenge accepted.
That didn't say that.
Oh.
Maybe just some interest. There are many things to check out in Dublin. I hope the Nebraska fans and media leave a mark on Dublin, Ireland, any way they can.
Will Bono be there?
Unclear. Maybe he pops up at a pub one of those nights.
Will Conor McGregor be gambling on this game?
That's likely. That would be likely. All right, we'll come back. We'll tell you what to watch tonight. Have the poll questions to finish up the show next on 1620 The Zone.
You could win $5,000 to have the ultimate tailgate party on 1620 The Zone. Enter now at 1620thezone.com.
Just like that, it's hello back to school season. Luckily at Famous Footwear, you can find unbeatable savings on the hottest brands. Have a son who's determined to bring his A game? Lace him up in fresh Puma courts. Is your daughter's style as big as her personality? Have her show up in iconic checkerboard Vans. For a limited time only, buy one, get one half off, both online and at a local Famous store. Buy one item, get a second item of equal or lesser value for half price. Some exclusions apply.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Imagine it's a scorcher and your home's AC just quit. Sometimes it's beyond repair and needs to be replaced. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. Modern AC systems are more energy efficient, which is good news for your energy bill. Call 402-788-1234 or visit McCarthy's1hour.com.
Always on time, or you don't pay time. Always on time, or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel, évidemment. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around. And every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry. You can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style. And they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
All right, so that breakfast eating challenge in Ireland, it's on a big old roll. There's a bunch of sausage, bacon, there's like 10 eggs, a bunch of butter, baked beans thrown on the top of it, because apparently they do that in Ireland, and then French fries, which they call chips, of course. The guy who attempted this food challenge on YouTube, it did not appear that he finished it, or maybe he got relatively close. He's a big guy, and he does food challenges for fun. Hey, actually, he might have got there. Looking at it now,
need a big American belly to finish that challenge.
That's right. Well, the guy's American. He had a big American belly with a Nebraska shirt on to finish that challenge. Poll questions: do you wear hats of the teams you do not root for? Yes.
Most voted on poll in quite some time.
74% say they do not.
Sad. Have a little fun in your life.
We got a response to that from one Michael Severe, who asked, do you walk into traffic for fun? So we asked it as a poll question. I do not. 30% say they do, though. So that's sort of a surprising number. Makes me feel like
questioning.
Yeah. The validity there. Do you like the Field of Dreams game? Yeah, I like the Field of Dreams game. 65% say yes as well. Mystery bins. Good idea, bad idea? I'm going to say bad idea. Could end up with a Seattle Mariners hat if you're an A's fan. 59% agree. Bad idea. Have you seen Avatar twice? Important poll for me. No, because I haven't seen Avatar once. 61% say no. So nearly 40% of people say they have seen Avatar twice.
But no one in human history has ever talked about it.
Interesting. Proper phrase. Have a catch, play a catch. Play catch, not play a catch. I go with have a catch, but I realize that I think I'm out on an island on this one. Yeah, I am. 87% say play catch. Want to have a catch? Want to have a catch? I don't know. Maybe it's an East Coast thing. I have no idea.
That's what I've heard it is.
And those are the poll questions today. Josh, what are we watching?
Tonight we're going to watch the second annual Field of Dreams game from Dyersville, Iowa. Cubs, Reds, 6 o'clock on Fox. It's an early start. And you will have the, oh, wait, that's not Joe Buck moment.
Oh, yeah. Another chance at that.
We have a one Little League game on ESPN tonight, 6 o'clock. It's the Northwest Regional Final, Washington versus Oregon. Someone's going to punch their ticket to Williamsport. Big stakes.
Huge.
Preseason week 1 kicks off in earnest tonight. 6 p.m. Giants Patriots live on NFL Network. And then you get Titans Ravens tape delay on NFL Network 3:30 a.m.
What?
I'm a Titans fan. I don't see myself waking up at 3:30 a.m. to watch.
That's the first time they're playing it at 3:30 in the morning?
Yes, you would think, like at 9 or 10 o'clock, they'll just flip on to that game. No, 3:30 a.m. Giants Patriots is on 3 times before the Titans Ravens.
That's weird.
Very. 9 o'clock tonight on ESPN, the final episode of The Captain. It details Jeter's marriage, fatherhood, and taking ownership of the Miami Marlins, which I'm sure wasn't Derek Jeter's fault.
Wasn't his fault
in any way.
No, not at all. Couldn't have been.
It was all the previous regime's fault.
Jeets was the one who took down the big goofy statue, right?
Yes, that is something I would like to actually hear about.
He got there day one and was like, this is dumb.
Mhm.
I can't do this. I played for the Yankees.
My first act.
Yeah.
And if none of those are doing it for you tonight on Peacock, you can watch the overrated baseball movie from 1989 starring Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams.
No, I think the Field of Dreams game will be fun yet again.
Costner won't be in attendance. I'm sure we'll have a lot of sad Ray Liotta montages.
Yeah. The guys walking out from the cornfield was great last year.
It was.
It was really great. And the way the game was very good and the way the game ended was awesome.
I like the uniforms.
Yep.
This year you're going to have Joey Votto and Ian Happ mic'd up. They're also going to do at one point the two-way mic where both players will be talking to each other during the game.
Oh, good. Well, have you heard another thing that the Fox broadcast is going to attempt during the game?
No.
Stay tuned for the crossover coming up next.
Whoa!
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The